Military blockade? The message is clear. The Nox event is contained. I repeat, the Nox event is contained.
What happened here? What's happening here? It's not contained. I had to find what I needed to survive and fight. But there were too many. And this is how I died. The next time, I was smarter. I moved between the shadows, between the infected. But I wasn't smart enough. And this is how I died. I knew I had to leave this place. I found an empty farmhouse, a place where they'd never find me. I prepped, built defenses. I farmed, I fished, and found a generator to keep me warm through winter. But it needed fuel. There was a gas station back out on the road. I took the car and risked the noise it made. But I would never make it home. This is Project Zomboid. Survive together. Build. Scavenge. Fight. Die. Project Zomboid, the ultimate zombie survival RPG.
All right. Well, here we are. After, good Lord, how long has it been? A month? Or more? No, wait. I did have a no talkie stream 2 weeks ago while I was sick. I'm still getting over that sickness. But I am much improved. But I still am probably going to need to mute every now and then to have myself a little hacky coffee cough. So, Merry Christmas, Brad. Happy New Year to you. I love you too, Brad. Brad, I feel like I've lost touch with everyone in the YouTube community except for you. Because, well, Evie too. Evie jumps in my chats too. But I haven't heard from anybody, really. And the only connection I've had is you've been putting out those VODs. So, I've watched or dozed through. Not all of them, because you've been very prolific. You've been putting a lot out, but I've been watching a lot of them. So, and I've watched a little bit of every series that you've done. Oh no, Brad. Your girlfriend has COVID? Yeah, you said before that once she gets it, that's all she wrote. So wait, you can't isolate from her, or have you already been exposed? That I'm the target audience for Final Fantasy 13? Yeah, I watched the first one. Or did I watch the first two? I can't remember because I've been playing Project Zomboid. And I put stuff on my second monitor while I'm playing Project Zomboid. So I'll put your VODs on, and when it ends, if there's like a next one, I'll just click to the next one and keep going. But there may have only been two. I think there were two that I watched, but I can't be sure. But it's been good content to have on the side while I'm playing Project Zomboid. Oh wait, I don't think I realized or remembered. You guys live together? Okay, I don't. If I knew that, I think I forgot that you live together. Yeah, if you're living in the same space, then I'm surprised I didn't get it from Amanda. But we do have multiple bedrooms, so when either one of us gets sick, we really can mostly isolate from each other. We got multiple bedrooms and multiple bathrooms in our apartment. So the only common area we need is the kitchen. So, well, there's a living room. When we're not sick, we spend time together in the living room. But when one of us is sick, we'll only use the living room one at a time. I actually used my living room. I did not have COVID. I tested myself 4 times over the period of being sick because I was so sure, like, oh, this is my ticket. I got it this time. And I thought, oh, maybe I fucked up the test. I didn't do it right, or I didn't do it long enough. Like, I realized later what the swab in the nose I was supposed to do for 15 seconds. And I was like, well, they said to do 5 complete circles. And that only took me 5 seconds. So maybe I didn't do it long enough. But, anyways. And then before Christmas, on Christmas Eve when we were about to leave to see family, I tested myself one last time. Because, yeah, I'm still congested and stuff like that. But I ended up getting back to work last week. At the end of last week. I was off work for over a week. Like, at the point that I streamed that No Talkie stream, I'd already been off work for 2 days. And I only got worse over the weekend. That weekend. It got really bad. And mostly it was, I went to the doctor and he just gave me these prescription pills to kill my gag or my cough reflex, because he said I have bronchitis, which is, I think is basically my coughing was causing the symptoms to worsen. So I just needed to not cough as much. Yeah, Brad, same happened with my wife and her mother-in-law, or my mother-in-law, her mom. When they got it earlier in the year, we think her mom got it from a coworker, and then my wife and her spent a weekend together at her house, and then she started feeling sick on Monday, and her mom tested like on Monday and Tuesday and Wednesday. It was negative, and then Wednesday she had the faintest positive line, and then my wife tested the next day and she had a positive, and then they both had it like full on for reals. So I really, even though we were distancing ourselves, I was almost sure I was gonna get it then. Nick, how you doing, man? I was actually like, I feel like I haven't seen it. I was telling Brad I feel disconnected from everybody, but I haven't seen any activity. Dude, I think I see when you play games and stuff on Steam, it'll pop up and say you've been playing. I was like, I wonder if Nick's okay. I haven't seen any sign of activity from Nick, but I don't know. So a lot's happened since we last had a talkie stream. I don't think we've had a talking stream since around my birthday. I don't know. We went on that, we went on the week and a half trip driving tour of California. And pretty much after that, it's like, I haven't talked with you guys. So, cause then basically we got home from California and I was feeling a little sick, and I went to work for a couple days, and then on the third day I'm like, nope, can't do that anymore. Oh, you're playing board games, cool. See what I'm thinking. What was my thought about board games? We did play board games. We spent a couple days at our friends in San Diego we played tabletop games with. So we got to play the new Dune game, and we played just some random other games. But I think that's what we're gonna do this weekend. Is my mother-in-law is gonna spend the weekend here, and we're gonna play. That's the only thing my wife has on the schedule for the weekend, is she wants to hang out and she wants to play tabletop games, which I'm up for, because we haven't played in a while. We have a lot of games to play. Hunter brains. So yeah, it's funny. I picked up some games, some of my top wish listed games for Christmas during the winter sale, and I haven't touched them. Basically, when I was sick, for a couple of weeks, I really didn't play games. But when I did, I was like, I need something. Well, Project Zomboid it's kind of chill a lot of the time, but it just felt like my speed. Like it felt like it has this sort of simplicity in a certain way. So I started playing Project Zomboid while I was sick, and that's really all that I played since. But I got the new Spider-Man game that the PS4, previously PS4 exclusive that I've been wanting forever. I got the God of War reboot, also PS4 or PlayStation exclusive until this year. And those are both games that I really, really have coveted for years. And now I have them. I installed them, but I haven't even launched them. They're just sitting on my hard drive, like ready to go whenever I am. But I'm like, oh, I'm just gonna play some Project Zomboid. There's actually already several Battle Brothers DLC. Is there a new one, or are you just yanking my chain? I mean, I haven't really played. I've never. The one time I streamed it, I was sort of playing Battle Brothers. Like, I played it for a few days. That was my game. But I've never, like, when I played it that much, I kept dying and I kept being frustrated, and then I actually kind of I went straight from frustrated to bored. So I'm like, maybe this is not for me. Hunty, I got my eye hard on that Hogwarts game. So I'm cautiously optimistic. But I want to see when it comes out, I want to see what the real skinny is. Because sometimes games look good and they look cool when you're getting preview material, and then they come out and they're heaping piles of you know what, doo-doo, right? You got bored within 15 minutes? You get bored during Project Zomboid, Brad? So I streamed quite a bit of that. Did any of you guys get Steam? I think it's the first time I've noticed this. I got an email of my own Steam year in review. And it summarized all the games I played the most in 2022. And then it had like all these different types of breakdowns, like by month and what genres I played the most. It's kind of interesting. And I was flipping through it, and I realized, damn, I played a lot of Project Zomboid. But the thing is, I don't think it picked up the last week. So, oh my gosh, look at that. Look at that flex from Nick C. Yeah, Hunty, that Hogwarts game, I'm not gonna lie, it looks good. It looks good. There aren't a whole lot of games on my radar that I'm looking forward to. That one is one of them, but it's not a guaranteed buy. I think the biggest one that I'm looking forward to is Bethesda's Starfield, which I may not even get near release because I love Bethesda's games, but they're usually not ready for prime time. Like, I've never bought, like, Skyrim, one of my favorite games of all time. I waited a year to get that game. It came out and I was hearing all this. I was also poor at the time, but I just heard like, oh, it's got a lot of issues. So I said, I'm gonna hang back, wait for a deep sale, and hopefully the community will have fixed it by then. And then, lo and behold, that's exactly what happened. Dwarf Fortress did pick up for me, Brad, on the summary. Very little. And I think Dwarf Fortress led into me wanting to play this. So I got a little frustrated with Dwarf Fortress, and part of it is because I was playing it while I was sick. But for a while, I forgot that, yeah, while I was sick, I was playing Dwarf Fortress. And I just got tired of having to look up every single thing that I wanted to do. Hey, Evil Sapphire. I know who you are. I'm a big fan of your work with Nick and Lance. Yeah, Dwarf Fortress, though, it's just, I think it was at the point where it's like every single thing I want to do, I have to look it up how to do it. Actually, I still have to look up how to do stuff in Project Zomboid, too, but it seemed like Dwarf Fortress, like every single thing, I was stopping the game every 5 seconds, be like, how do I do this? Or this isn't working right. And it's like basic stuff, like how to, like, stairs acted weird. Like being able to build or remove stairs. Like things got all screwed up so that for a while my base couldn't get back to the surface because the stairs were screwed up. Anyways, hey, what's up, Animal Lawyer, aka the Keith Man? How you doing? And everybody, since I got you here, I already said this to Brad, but Merry Christmas, Merry Holidays, Merry whatever you have, Festivus for the rest of us, all the stuff, whatever it is, and then also Happy Almost New Year too. It takes up no RAM or CPU while idling. It doesn't respect Alt 4, so it just stays on. Okay, yeah, that's why Brad got Dwarf Fortress first. And then I had already been eyeballing it, and then Brad talked it up a little bit, and I got it. And I think there's a future for me in playing Dwarf Fortress. And this is the first time I really did jump in. Like, I put some hours into it. In fact, I'll check now, see how many. I mean, not like a ton, but still. I'm curious to see how much I played it, though. But I'm also wondering if I left it... Oh, wait, I haven't been checking the winter sale. It's still on? Holy shit. I've got to look. Got to check into this. I just sort of forgot about the winter sale. After I bought the big games, I got Spider-Man and God of War. Oh, and I got some VR, a couple VR games too. I got Half-Life Alyx, which is also a game I've coveted forever, but wasn't able to play because I didn't have VR until now. And then I got an Apollo, like from Rocky boxing game. Neither of which have I played. I haven't, since I got sick, I haven't done any VR. The idea of putting a helmet on and being in that VR space just feels a little like, Wait, you bought Final Fantasy 13 during this sale? I thought you already had it before. Like, you tried it and it didn't work. Well, I guess you could have gotten it. Oh, no, you couldn't have gotten it on a console. It is still winter. Oh, God, it goes through January 5th. I'm looking at the Steam page. But I think I got what I wanted, and then I stopped paying attention to it. Because Spider-Man... Well, there's some other stuff, but the two big ones that I'd sort of really wanted to have, Spider-Man and God of War. And I'm not in the mood for either one. Like, Spider-Man came out, and I said, that looks like a lot of fun, but I really don't feel like a super agile, hoppy, shooty web thing right now. It feels like too high energy. I'd rather just scrounge for food in Project Zomboid and occasionally get mauled by hordes of zombies. Oh yeah, no, Final Fantasy 14 is a true Final Fantasy game, but it is also an MMO. And it has all the grindiness of an MMO. Although I think it's much better now. I've only played through the beginning of Heavensward. And that's supposed to be the shittiest content, and I actually was enjoying it. I was surprised. And it didn't... Well, they really accelerated the leveling so that all you really had to do was the story missions. I played it a few years ago, and there was a lot of grind going on. Alright, let me see here. 15.4 hours of of Dwarf Fortress on record. So it's not like I'm a grizzled veteran like Brad is at this point. But that's not nothing for me to put 15 hours into a game. Oh god, yeah, the Forgotten City is really good. Well, I played the Forgotten City on, I played it on Game Pass, and it's been removed now. But the Forgotten City is one of those games, I don't know if I almost considered streaming a little bit after I beat it, because I liked it so much, and I remember plugging it to you guys. But that's an example of an experience that for me would not have worked well streaming. Because I really wanted to just be in the game and playing that game. And focusing on that game. And some games are like that. Skyrim would have been like that if I hadn't already beat it functionally like 3 times. Then it was like, it's okay to stream it and walk around Riften for 4 hours. But there are a lot of games that are like that. where if I really want to immerse and enjoy it, Red Dead was like that at first, but Red Dead also is a big open world, and I actually sort of ended up having fun streaming some of that. But Forgotten City is a pretty tight experience. It's like 10, 15-hour game. Maybe it's not a long game. I would say maybe 10 hours to get through it. I can't remember. Oh, hold on. Oh no, nobody said Heavensward was poo. I said I only played through like the beginning of. I got to Heavensward, played for a couple hours, and then I basically needed a break of Final Fantasy. So mostly I played the original A Realm Reborn. 99% of my Final Fantasy XIV experience was the original Realm Reborn. And 1% was scratching the surface at the beginning of Heavensward. And so when I was saying that most of what I played had a reputation of being kind of poo, and the worst of Final Fantasy XIV, I was referring to the pre-Heavensward content. Which, again, based on how much everyone crapped on the pre-Heavensward content, I was surprised at how much I liked it and thought it was good. It only made me think like, wow, this is considered shit by the people that play Final Fantasy. I'm kind of looking forward to seeing where it goes from here. But I had played a shit ton of Final Fantasy by the time I got to that. At least for me, by my standards, I'd played a shit ton of that game. And even my best games, I love big games, but I stall out. I got to put them down and go back to them later. It took me 3 years to beat Skyrim. And I think I put Skyrim down for a year and a half. Fallout 4 still, I've had Fallout 4 down for about 4 years now. Hey, I can't do that. I can't do it extremely with the zest that I normally do with the grunge voice, because I probably end up hacking up a lung. So I'm still getting over this damn thing. But I am alive. I'm alive. Thanks to the support, the love and support of you and Brad rooting for me on Discord. Although I think I may have broke Maxi, because one of the last times I canceled stream, I think I broke him, and he has lost faith in the Gaming Lore channel. Yeah, great news. Wait, I saw you posted something about that you got the Steam Deck, right? Yeah, is that what it was? You got a Steam Deck? Which, that actually seems pretty cool. It doesn't work with everything, but I know I've heard a lot of people saying that certain games, ones that work well on Steam Deck, that work well in that format, that it can be a ton of fun. So, I remember you posted that. The way that I've been for the past few weeks is I'll see posts or not notice posts, or I'll see posts when I'm half awake and forget about them. So I don't answer everything. So I guess I didn't answer that one, but that's exciting. I'm happy for you. You've gone from playing board games to losing board games, like win and losing, or misplacing. Yeah, that was one of our big plans for Christmas Eve. We were going to my mother-in-law's house, and in the morning we could get together Christmas morning with the rest of the family. At Christmas Eve, Amanda's all hyped. She's like, we're gonna play board games. She brought like a full IKEA bag. She brought like 50 pounds of board games. I didn't realize till we were hauling it up the stairs to my mother-in-law's apartment. It's like, holy shit, you really bought games along, didn't you? Like, you brought half of our library. She was really hyped for it. But then her brother came over, and he's someone that has no interest in playing games, and is just basically likes to sort of talk a lot. They all do, but her whole family is a bunch of talkers. But my brother-in-law, and he's cool and everything, but if you're in a room with him, he's gonna be talking, and basically usually gonna be like he's gonna be a focal point of any conversation. Oh my god, hold on. Grieving I wouldn't call it resentment, but I will say that it made playing games impossible. Which, I mean, I was sort of okay either way, but I know my wife was frustrated because she really wanted to play games. And then when he came over, like he randomly came over and brought over a girlfriend that no one had ever heard of before. Which, you know, that's fine too, but it's kind of like we thought we were gonna have a quiet evening, and then all of a sudden, there's a lot of us packed into this little family room, engaging in a 6-hour conversation until everyone got too tired to stay awake. But it's gonna be delivered on Saturday. It's supposed to be here Friday, but it's been delayed. Well, only one more day, but that, oh my god, when you're excited for something, that whole day is huge. Especially like, you want to have it on Friday so that. Well, I forget what your work schedule is though. I don't think you have like weekdays off, don't you? That's it. The worst is when you have Saturday and Sunday off, and you have something that's arriving on your Friday, your work, you know, last day that you're working, and then you're gonna have it the whole 2 days off, or 3. In this case, 3 days off because it's a holiday weekend for a lot of people. So let me see what else exciting. We did my California trip. We visited a bunch of people. We haven't been to California since we moved away. The first year we were too busy working. My wife in particular could not get time off. And then the following years, COVID, and we didn't want to travel. And then this year, it was still like, I knew I didn't want to fly because I heard COVID or not, which still was a concern, but flying seemed like an absolute nightmare. Like, the word is that everyone who was holding off for the last 2 years are all rushing for the airports this holiday season. So I was like, I don't want to deal with that bullshit. And then, you know, my wife and I are, you know, we're not little people, and we're kind of over. I swear, they're making the airplane smaller. Granted, one could think, man, am I just getting bigger, and that's why everything seems smaller? But it's a combination. God damn it! It can't all just be my ass got that big. Airplane seats are like 40% smaller than they were 30 years ago. So it always ends up being like, at this point, we're like, if we're going to fly, we're probably just going to end up paying first class, because it's just the way they jam us in there. I just don't want to deal with that shit anymore. It's like, and we drove this time. That's why. And also, you know, we got our new car this last year, and it's like a really comfortable ride. And it's got the adaptive cruise control. The car basically drives itself, especially on the highway. So it was actually a really nice drive. I don't know if you guys are familiar with adaptive cruise control. We had one rental car that sort of was able to do it, but things have come a long way. So we had an idea what we were getting. This thing, you set a target speed. So if you're on the freeway and it's like 65 miles an hour is the speed limit, we'll set it a couple, like 68, 69. We're pretty conservative drivers. We'll go a few miles over the speed limit as a target. And then you say how many car lengths you want to keep between you and the cars in front of you. We usually set it about 3. And so it will just maintain speed versus the car in front of you. So if the cars in front of you slow down, the car slows down. But it's also good, like if someone gets up in front of you, it doesn't like slam the brakes to maintain that distance. It gradually eases off. So that way, because before, I know people will try it. They say when a car comes in front of you, it will slam on the brakes, and then people behind you might crash into you. So Anyway, and this one also has steering assist, and you can feel it like on curvy roads. You can feel it like it could almost just do it itself, but it's not quite there yet. Like you don't want to let it, but it almost could do it itself. Because I was even experimenting when we were driving one point where there were curves and not a lot of cars, and the curves weren't really big. Like if it started going over the line, I could have corrected, and I kind of like let my hands off of it, and it was just doing it. Turn right, straightening out, turning left. It was staying between the lines, but then it got all pissed off. Like the car started beeping, and this thing showed up on the display. It was like, "Put your hands on the wheels." It's like, "God damn, okay, sorry, car." It was like it didn't like that shit. It's like, don't do it. Hey, what's up, Ethan? Hey, howdy. But that means that those long drives are just that much easier. Where now it's like, because that's one of the problems, especially because we don't drive all that, nearly as much as we used to, since everything's work from home and before that, I've worked from home a lot. So there'd be times where I didn't drive regularly. And if I drove for more than 20 or 30 minutes, I'd start getting like Charlie horses and shit. From like keeping my leg in the pedal, like the gas pedal position for an extended period. And with our car, you don't have to do it. You just have to get involved occasionally. GPS decided assassin driver. Oh yeah, no. So I kept my hand on the wheels the whole time. It's just I feel like it could do it by itself. But there's stuff like it doesn't know. Like it doesn't recognize, like if you're on streets, it won't recognize red lights. It won't know it needs to stop for those. And then it does the thing where if it does come to a complete stop, then the auto disengages. I mean, you just can re-engage it immediately, but you have to interact with it. And that's the cool thing too, is you set the 3-card length, but if you're in stop and go traffic, it closes the gap, and it'll still follow by like 5 to 10 feet. The car in front of you. I was afraid it would be like cars would be stopping and going 2 miles an hour, and it would be maintaining this like 40-foot gap opening. I was like, oh, that'd be kind of bullshit. But it only maintains that distance when you're at traveling speeds. So let's see. We saw people we hadn't seen in years. We went to Disneyland, and we didn't mess around with Disneyland because the last time we went a few years ago, and it wasn't good. We didn't have a car then, so we had to take like a 2.5-hour series of buses to get there. And we got there late for reasons I won't get into. And then, we were only there for a few hours, and then it was late and we were tired, and we knew we had like a 3-hour trip back. So we like took off and spent 3 hours on the bus. We probably only spent like I don't know, probably like maybe 5 or 6 hours at Disneyland. This time we got a hotel. Oh, okay, I'll get into the reasons, Brad, since you want to know. So my brother-in-law, same brother-in-law. Again, I like him, and I like talking to him. He's cool. I didn't mean to play it down. It just was, I was only sounding maybe, whatever, because he is, if you can't be in a room with him and not be engaged in conversation with him. That's sort of how, you're not going to just play a board game or watch a movie or do anything else normally. But he came with his wife and his daughters. I think at the time one was 1 year old and one was like 5. So we were trying to coordinate the trip with them because it's mostly about taking his daughters to see Disneyland for the first time, which is cool. It's cool going to some place that was special to you as a kid and seeing young kids experiencing it for the first time. So it was legitimately a cool experience. But it was like, they drove and did some other stuff, and we had to do the public transportation. So because of the way the day went with them earlier in the day, that by the time we were cleared to start our public transportation trek. That's why we didn't get there until significantly later in the day. So it was just, and it was just the way that it was arranged. The way that it all came together meant that it was cool being there for them, but it wasn't like we got to enjoy the Disneyland on our own terms. It was sort of based around their schedule and then also based around our public transportation. So this time we booked a hotel 2 blocks from Disneyland. It was the Anaheim Hilton. It was like 2 blocks away. The night before and the night of the day night after. So we wake up 2 blocks from Disneyland, and when we left Disneyland, we go 2 blocks, be back at our hotel. No 2-hour commutes anywhere, right? So we rolled into Disneyland like 8:30 in the morning, like shortly after it opened. I think we timed it perfect. So we weren't there when it opened, but we also didn't have to wait in line. Like by the time we got there, it was just, we were able to just walk right in. We had the park hoppers, so we also had the California Adventure, which I'd never been to before. We spent 14 hours at Disneyland. Like, I was exhausted as shit when we were done. We both were like falling apart. I got 25,000 steps on my Fitbit that day, which I think is the most. I think that's the most steps I've ever had in one day since I got my Fitbit. It was cool. We went on both of the new Disney or the new Star Wars rides. Oh my god, they're so cool. I didn't know what to expect. I'm not going to spoil it for anybody who might end up going there, but let's just say they're not just roller coasters anymore. They're full on experiences, like live action, almost like you're in the middle of a LARP RPG type experience. Like you're part of the rebellion, and all the staff and the whole scene and everything else, they're all conspiring to reinforce that experience. No, I'm not streaming for 6 hours tonight. I couldn't talk for 6 hours. That's one thing. But also, I can't fuck with my sleep too much. Because I'm still... I think I got the... something... RSV? It's a chest, like, virus infection that's going around. That's like COVID, but it's like... It got COVID-like symptoms, but it's not COVID. But... anyways. Yeah, I'm not going to fuck around too much with my sleep. So as it was, I streamed late because I was really tired coming out of work. I had to eat and kind of recuperate for a couple hours. I think let's see. RSV, respiratory something or other virus. I wasn't officially diagnosed. The doctors, they don't even give a shit about trying to diagnose what you have. I mean, I told them I tested myself for COVID and I was negative, and I think they didn't even test me. I was surprised they didn't test me themselves. They were just like, okay, whatever, we're just coming in because you've got like a deep... I was afraid I might have been developing pneumonia. That's how like bad it was. But he's like, no, you listen to my lungs. He's like, no, you don't have pneumonia. He's like, you just need to get through this cough and you'll be fine. But there's nothing like more serious developing. You thought there was a 0 chance of me streaming? Yeah, there was today. There was no question of me streaming, of whether I would stream. There's a question of when I would stream, and then I was also considering setting up the cam, because you guys haven't actually seen me for months, and I thought after really not having a stream with me for a month, I might do the whole setup with the cam and everything, but that was too much. I don't want to deal with that bullshit, so I'm not doing it. Didn't do it. Not doing it. But oh my shit, you guys! The new Star Wars rides. Have any of you guys been on that? Gone to a Disney park and been on the new Star Wars rides? They're really cool. One of them, you actually get to go inside the Millennium Falcon. I won't say too much about like what the experience is there, but like literally they're trying to simulate that you've ended up like in an emergency, you've ended up on the Millennium Falcon and you got to do shit. So you actually end up like in the cargo hold with the chest, like with the chessboard and everything. And it's all like to scale. Like it's as if they took the set from the movie and just made it to scale. And I don't know how if there's like multiple of them to accommodate all the people in the lines. That was one thing I was thinking of, is maybe there's like 3 versions of it, and so there's a bunch of people in their own Millennium Falcon at the same time. I don't know how else they could have accommodated that many people. But so yeah, you actually get to go in the Millennium Falcon, and the ride is you're in the Millennium Falcon cockpit, and it's like it's the actual layout from the movies, like with the little small hallways inside the Millennium Falcon that lead to the cockpit. It's all like it's real. So I was super jazzed by it. And then the other one was more of like the Rise of the Rebellion or whatever. I don't even want to describe that one because I had no idea what to expect. And the part of the experience of that was just not knowing what was going to happen next. I went in thinking, oh, is this going to be like a roller coaster or another one, like a VR ride or something? And it was really cool. And the best part was not knowing. Best part was not knowing what was going to happen. And aside from that, we went on all the classics. The Haunted Mansion, Pirates of the Caribbean. Space Mountain was busted. When we were ready to go on Space Mountain, it was busted. That was an all-time favorite. And the Matterhorn line was always longer than we wanted. I was never a huge Matterhorn fan. You know what? By the time we got to that section of the park, it was all closed off for the fireworks. I think it was closed off for the fireworks show. And then it just didn't open by the time we left. By the time the fireworks show hit, we were beat. Because in the middle, we went on a few rides, and before the sun went down, we wanted to check out California Adventure. So we went to California Adventure and basically walked all over. I had no idea, but that's like a full-fledged Disney theme park. I thought it was just a few like Fasty Carnival, like more like a traditional roller coaster park. But no, it's like just another, it's like more Disneyland. Like where everything is completely, it was really cool. I don't know why I thought it was going to be so lame. I haven't been on the teacup since I was, I don't know. I think there was a time I went when I was 19. I probably went on the teacups. Teacups was never, well, I'll strike that. I did enjoy, I remember when I was a kid liking the teacups. And then there was the Dumbo ride where it had a little switch and you could decide, you could make Dumbo go higher or lower. Pretty cool. But it's been 30, probably been 40 years since I've been on it. We did want to go on some of those chill rides though, like where the teacups are. They got all those little, like the Pinocchio ride, the Peter Pan ride. They're just basically little slow rides where you just sit down and it goes around, looks at like cool scenery from old Disney movies. But that stuff was all closed by the time we got over there. But yeah, oh yeah, we went on the Indiana Jones ride and the Jungle Cruise. All the classics. And then my wife got kind of, there used to be this ride called the Carousel of Progress, and it was like this moving theater, like a circular theater that moved. And actually there's some horrible stories back from the 70s or someone died because as the theater was moving they got crushed between the rooms. Anyways, but I remember when I was a kid and Amanda was like, they still have it, the whole building was still there. And I'm like, I think they got rid of it. I found there was some website that made it sound like it was still a thing. So I got to embarrassingly ask someone who worked at the park if the Carousel of Progress is still there, and they almost laughed at me. I mean, they were cool. They're like, "No, that's been gone for like 20 years." It's like, oh, okay. Oh, a Disney VHS tape with sing-along songs? Yep. The pirates. The yo ho, a pirate. Yeah, classic. It's a little bit creepy. All those animatronics are they're a little creepy. But yeah, no, Pirates is one of my favorites when I was a kid. Oh, and they had the Nightmare Before Christmas theme at the Haunted Mansion. I'd never seen that before. I thought they just threw up some decorations on the outside. I didn't realize they basically, like, during the Christmas season, they completely redo the whole ride. Like, completely redo it to be Nightmare Before Christmas theme. So that was an example of something that I did not know that was the case, and that was pretty amazing. Oh, they're all the Pirates animatronics dudes. They're all like, they all have these weird smiles, and then they got those dead blinking eyes. I mean, there's something about it. It's unsettling. Like, I don't know why. As an adult, it almost seems more creepy now. Maybe it's because I've seen like Five Nights at Freddy's games and things, and now when I'm seeing the animatronics, there's something creepy about it. But I'd be like, dude, I could totally see it, that it being at Disneyland. It's known, like, oh yeah, there's that one section of the Pirates ride is fucking haunted as shit. Like, there's some engineer that got run over by one of the boats, and now it's like that section, the pirate animatronics, they're all cursed and shit. All right. Well, I'm gonna play some Project Zomboid. I think that's the plan.
45 seconds of gameplay.
If it'll capture it, that is. Fans of Disney and fans of Final Fantasy 14 over. Oh yeah, the Nightmare Before Christmas. What's the argument? I like this. I like the original song, and now I could see the Disney legal department having something to say about it. Were you there, Hunty? I know when I streamed Final Fantasy 14, you were there, not for necessarily all of it, but you were there quite a bit. And I streamed that section. It's when you're fighting the Moogle King giant spirit boss or whatever. And it's literally the Nightmare Before Christmas main song. This is Halloween. It's not the lyrics, but it's the music from it. Okay. So what is the goal for this Zomboid? Well, first, let me see. Can I call your attention to this character's name is Lawrence Hawk the Sixth. You could probably speculate as to why he's the sixth. But in Project Zomboid, when your character dies, you have two choices. You can start over in a new, like, reset the whole world and start over. Or you can start a brand new spanking new character with no skills or anything, dropped into the same world that you've been in. You could potentially even run into the zombie of your old character. And there are different arguments as to when it's a better idea to stay in the same world versus start over. Because when you first start, there's a lot of advantages, like electricity and water are still on, and that's a big game changer. At a certain point, within the first month or two, randomly, those things will turn off. There's also like television, so you can gain skills by having like the learning channel on the TV at your house. Of course, that also means you still have lights, you got running water, all that stuff. You got your oven works, your refrigerator works to keep perishables from going bad. All that stuff, when the power and the water goes out, all that stuff goes away. So, you know, some people like, unless you've got a good base built up, or you've got, you know, basically you just should just start over. But I've stayed in the same world because I've also got settings. I've changed the default settings. The default settings are you can clear a whole neighborhood of zombies, but then randomly over time they'll all spawn back. And like the zombie population of the world never really goes down. It just goes down temporarily in areas that you kill. It'll take a little while to regenerate. And it regenerates randomly. And the settings that I have is the zombies do not respawn. They do not respawn, but the zombie population of the world moves dynamically. So they can wander back into previously cleared areas. But it's not like they're just going to randomly spawn in. Like just because, oh, it's time to respawn, like in an MMO or something. It's time to respawn the zombies. So I've got this whole area that occasionally there's some straggler zombies go in. In fact, I hadn't seen a zombie on my block where my house is for like weeks, a couple weeks. And I went out in the backyard because now I'm doing everything on my barbecue. Went out in my backyard and there was a fucking zombie back there. So fine with both. The Square kind of helps Disney now since they're involved in the Avengers video games. All right, cool. Yeah, I don't know why the fans would give a shit. Unless the fans are all if they're fans that are lawyers that happen to work, that happen to represent Final Fantasy. But I don't know, seems like a dumb thing. If you're not a lawyer representing one of the sides, seems like a dumb thing to be pissed off about. So there's no real goal for this Zomboid at the moment. And at the moment, well, let's see. So I'm in a new town that I'm usually when I spawn in, when you guys have seen me before, this Riverwood is my main base. This time, or Riverville, this time I'm in Rosewood, which is a town that I've never been in before. Well, strike that. I've never started here before. In the last game that I played, and probably the last time I streamed this, I'd actually fixed up or got a car and drove all the way over here. And I was starting to clear out the neighborhood. And I was actually living, I think, in one of these two houses. I think it was this house. I had set up as my Rosewood base and was just slowly starting to clear out this neighborhood. And that's the last time I was playing it. But this time, I was here and I was trying to get a good vehicle. I've cleared out a lot of this area up here. And you need to learn how to fix and repair vehicles. And you do that based on skill books that you find. And there's a specific set of books for being able to repair and tinker with certain kinds of different types of vehicles. There's standard, commercial, and high performance. And I found the commercial and high performance, but not the manual to learn how to fix standard cars. And I'm like, man, I really need, because especially now that I've cleared out my neighborhood, I have to go further and further to get stuff. And I really need a vehicle that's in good shape. And also if I want to start looking for stuff in other towns. So right now, that's sort of like my key thing is getting a decent vehicle. Because the one I'm having is kind of a junk, but I could probably fix it up. And actually, Lawrence Hawk the Fifth died the one time I tried to take a vehicle to the closest neighboring town, which is right here. It's called March Ridge, and it's like, I think it's supposed to be like a college town, college community. And let's just say it didn't do well. The only reason I came here is because I knew they would have a big library. After I looked through pretty much all the major, like there's a bookstore here, there's an elementary school with a library, and I've done a lot of scrounging. I looked through a lot of houses and was not finding that book to fix up standard cars. So I came here, and man, this place just had tons of clumps of zombies everywhere. And it got to where I just wanted to get the fuck out. And I'll say I almost didn't make it. The injury I sustained ended up killing me. But I was coming up here, and I guess probably should have kept going. But my strategy was like, I can't just drop anywhere in the middle of this town and like grab a house. It's just there's too many mobs of zombies. So it's like, okay, I'm going to come back to the outskirts over here. And once it's thinned out enough that I could even get out of my fucking car, I'm just going to start killing zombies around the road here and start clearing them here. And then I was still planning to there's no place for me to stop and sleep where zombies wouldn't want to enter me. So I'm like, okay, and then I'm going to drive back home. But yeah, that became treacherous. And then when I came this way because I didn't know. All I could see is that it was here, but it looked like this was the main way to get there. And there's a lot of zombies on the highway, but when I came back, I was coming this way, and I lost track of where I was. I thought I was up here, but it's actually down here. And this road was actually pretty clear. When I got back into town, I got lost trying to find my way back to the town. And there were hordes of zombies. Like, I swear, I thought they were going to get my car stuck and I was going to die. But I didn't get bitten, but one of the zombies severely lacerated me when I was out here trying to clear them. So when there's certain injuries, if you get bitten, you're going to die. You're going to get the zombie infection. You're going to die. If you get scratched by a zombie, you're probably going to be okay, but there's like a low chance you could get a zombie disease. Lacerations are a little more serious. If you get a serious laceration, I think it's about a 25% chance you're going to get the zombie virus. So I got a pretty serious laceration. And so I drove all the way back home, and I got home and I was treating the injury. And over the next 24 hours, I developed a fever. And there's certain signs you get where it's more than just a standard injury. And those signs presented. And I was like, well, shit, one of the negative perks, because you have a balance, you have to get negative perks to get the points to buy good perks. One of the negative perks I have is like prone to illness. So I was like, well, maybe he just got an infection. He's being a weirdo. But so I sort of kept him around for a couple of days thinking maybe he doesn't have the zombie virus. He's going to bounce back. But no, it became evident. Like his wound healed and he was still getting more and more debilitated. And his health just started slowly going down. Even though the wound had stopped, being a problem. So I'm like, okay, now he's turning into a fucking zombie. So, but that was the one time I tried to travel to another town. But then I scrounged more around here and I actually found that manual, like in a random house somewhere. Or maybe it was just a courthouse. No, it wasn't a courthouse. I was just randomly looking through what looks like it would have been judges' offices, going through their bookshelves. And one of them had the manual on how to repair standard vehicles. So I learned it. And so getting a vehicle fixed up is one of my main objectives. The other one is I'm starting to pick dry the food sources around here. And there's still a lot of canned foods that I didn't pick up from I've still got a while to go, but I really need to start figuring a way to live sustainably. So I have to find more like seeds to do farming. So that's another thing. Like I think might be some farms out here I can see if they've got seeds. When I left up here, it looked like there was some farmlands out here. So that's another longer term objective. But what I do in the game right now, the couple objectives are to just find random cars and just do mechanics, level up my mechanics skill. Because right now, if I do mechanics, I end up damaging the parts more than actually being able to remove and install them until I get my skill up higher. So I need to do some basically grinding of just going up to cars that are pretty beat up to where I wouldn't want to use them and just removing the driver's side window, putting it, reinstalling it, removing it, reinstalling it until I basically break it, and then move to the next window. It's pretty dry. And then the other thing I want to do is there's still a bunch of zombies sort of in this area over here, and this is a fire department. I'd like to clear this area and be able to get in this fire department. In particular, axes are at a premium in this. I want to have some axes, but I also want to see if I get some, like, winter is coming. And the firemen have, like, these really thick, super insulated, and also very bite resistant, you know, the stuff that they use when they're putting out fires, those outfits. And for a lot of the year, if you try and wear those, it's so warm you may end up getting a heat stroke. But now that winter's coming, I very much like to have that get up, to protect me from the elements and to protect me from zombies. So that's an additional objective. So I think my two most immediate objectives are work on car repairs skills and try to clear the way to get into this place and see if they've got axes and awesome firefighter outfits to help protect me from the zombies. All right. Oh, hold on. So Nick, I don't know if Nick's still here. I guess he's playing board games. But Nick said he's been playing Project Zomboid again. I think I don't know if I talked him into it, but he bought it last year when I was totally into it. And it seemed like partially so we could do multiplayer. We played a little bit of multiplayer. All right, well, this guy's got to go. Oh yeah, I was working on fixing cars up, huh? I think I'll do a little bit of that first. And there was some... I think there was some cars up in this parking lot over here that I was working on. Alright, get that. Turn the ignition off. So you can see this one I've completely taken apart. Or at least the stuff, certain things like the hood and larger things, I don't want to screw around with because they're so heavy that every time I pick them up, I get some physical damage. Oh wait, now I remember what I was going to do. Or I just realized it's almost night. I just finished a day of doing that, but my gas is running a little low. I actually was able to find a generator, like a gas power generator, and I hooked it up to the gas pumps at a gas station. So now I actually have my very own self-functioning gas station. Because before, the only way I could refuel my vehicle was just to try to look for abandoned vehicles and wrecks that had like a little bit of gas left over in them and siphon them into gas cans that I was carrying around. But now it's kind of nice. Oh, there's some stragglers over here. Now it's kind of nice to, all right, we're gonna take this guy out. Just be able to go to the gas station and refill. You know, it's a little creature comfort. Oh, come on. I'm over here. First, the zombie's got to be like, oh, but I came here for the car sounds. Come for the car sounds. Stay for the crowbar, baby. All right. Anything good? No. Actually, oh, hello. All right. I like to lure them off the roads because I'm afraid driving over those dumbass bodies in my car, if I litter the streets with them, is gonna, you know, damage my tires and stuff. But yeah, I think I am gonna start collecting baggy jeans. I realized that I can cut up. Oh, dismantle watches. Yes, please. That to level my electric skill. If my electric skill gets high enough, I'll be able to hotwire cars, and I won't need to find flipping keys for them. Right now, I have to get lucky and find keys. Oh my God, Maxie, you're here. This new channel. Hello, stranger. I actually said earlier, like, I felt like I lost touch with the community and I didn't know who was going to show up. The only person I've had contact with is Brad because he's been putting out a bunch of VODs. I've been watching them while I was sick. And I was like, I think I completely broke Maxie's trust in the Gaming Lawyer channel. Because the last time I canceled my stream, it seemed like you're like, oh, I guess I'll see you next year. And I was like, oh shit. I think Maxie has lost all faith. All trust has been broken. How you doing, Maxie? Merry Christmas. Happy New Year. Oh shit. Alright, just get in here and get the gas and get out. We gotta get home. Are they staying up there? Alright. Yep. I've only used this generator for like a couple minutes at a time. Yeah, well, I think I picked up a bug on my travels. We got back from our trip, and then I felt kind of like crap, and then I worked for a couple days, and then I just couldn't do it. So I was off work for over a week. I went to urgent care and make sure it wasn't like pneumonia or something that needed antibiotics. And it wasn't. He was just like, no, you just got a bad chest thing. You got bronchitis. Developed into bronchitis. But I didn't need antibiotics. He just gave me something to make me cough less so that I would stop fucking up my lungs. I think it just kept getting worse because I was coughing too much, and that was actually agitating my lungs even more. But yeah, I'm still struggling with it a little bit. But I feel fine. It's just the chest symptoms are really lingering. You got an ear infection? Oh, that sucks. I'd almost rather have what I had, because ear infection is actually painful. What I had, I was just coughing a lot. Honestly, no, I felt kind of like shit, but still. It wasn't like an acute pain, whereas an ear infection, you can have like some really, really acute pain. Yeah, I think I haven't had one since I was a teenager, but I remember it wasn't that, and I used to get strep too. And this time, thankfully, I didn't really get that much of a sore throat. I got kind of a sore throat, but I think it was just because I was coughing a lot. And it was never off like that awful where it feels like you're getting stabbed every time you swallow. It was nothing like that. Let's see, do I have anything in the trunk? Oh yeah, I got the car battery. So this area is becoming my drop off for like car related stuff. I'm pretty messed up too. Let's see, very hungry. I think I got some, I made some soup earlier out of canned goods. I think I should still have. There's not a ton of it left. No, well, I hope you're better though, Maxie. Are you feeling better now? It's like me, I mostly feel fine. I'm actually having a little bit of trouble because I'm talking a lot, wanting to cough more, but it's not like it was. The last time I streamed when I didn't talk 2 weeks ago, like literally I could barely talk. And even if I started feeling okay, like if my wife would come in and start talking to me, it would just like the exertion and the irritation of like to my throat and to my lungs hurt when I tried to talk. So it was pretty bad. But if I just laid around, and I also was sleeping like 14 to 16 hours a day. I was just like, I was in kind of a brain fog. Okay. Should I do this shit now or in the morning? I think I could do some cooking now. It's a little late, but... Here, we're going to fill the empty cooking pot. Gotta get the water... And I have one cooking pot that I just keep in here. I use it to sterilize bandages. That's its whole job. This is tainted water. This is rain collectors. So I've got my sweet setup here. You know, I got my strawberries up there too. I'm going to check them out. It's the only seeds I've found so far are strawberry seeds. Let's see. Oh, wait a second. What was this? That doesn't look like water. Huh, guess it was. All right, let's open up some cans. I have some mushroom soup. Canned corn. Well, actually, I have some canned beans. And some canned corn. And we'll see what that looks like if I dump it all into my pot of water to make a soup. Soup. We'll start with the mushroom soup. And the canned corn. I've got a lot of extra ingredients I can throw in. They're mostly just like to make them more fun to eat. They don't offer nutritional value. Oh no, Maxie. Yeah, well, that was the thing that why I ended up going to the doctor is because if it ends up being like a real infection, that can spread like a bacterial, because you can start off with a non-bacterial and then it gets irritated enough that it becomes a bacterial infection, and then that shit, if you don't, that won't always just get better after a few days. Like that stuff will start moving around and evolving. So, spread your eyes, though. Oh, that sucks. Was it like, did it come out like pink eye, like conjunctivitis? I didn't realize that either, but I know that if you got the wrong kind of stuff going on, eyes, ears, and throat can fuck each other up, pretty much. Like one can cause symptoms in the others. Let's see. That's pretty good. All right. We'll throw this into the old BBQ. We will light the BBQ with... That's my favorite thing now, is using money. I've raided all the... I'm almost out, too. But I raided all the cash registers in town. Now I use the money as a fire starter. Let's see. God, it's so dark out here. Let's check out the how the strawberries are doing. Blooming strawberry plant. All right, I don't think they're ready to harvest yet, though. I can do a little I got soap on my person. I'll do a little wash, clean up. I got blood and shit all over me. Let's see, hold on, let's check this soup. It's doing good. I'm gonna have to interrupt my cleaning session in a second, or else I'm gonna burn my soup. My guy's gonna be ready for bed after this. Alright, no, stop it. Get that soup out of there. I've burned soup a couple times, and let me tell you, that's really disheartening. When you have a day and a half's giant pot of like this stew that you've made, and it ends up you burn it, 'cause it loses like 75% of its nutritional value and then makes you miserable. It like makes your sadness, spikes your sadness. And then also I think it can make you really sick too. So you just gotta dump it. You felt like one of my Sims characters. Alright, soup. Wow, am I already... Okay, I'm gonna eat in the morning. We're just gonna sleep with the hunger. And let me put the... Where's the water? I think I'm just carrying the water. Place that on the counter. Alright. Okay, I guess it's just too dark and I can't see it. It's really flipping dark. Let me... see, this is the box where I put... No, that's the box where I put my electronics. The tin cans. I just need to go to bed. Hold on, let me have a cigarette. My guy's a smoker, so he gets a little bit wigged out if he doesn't have a cigarette. I don't want him wigged out as he's drifting off to sleep, because that might fuck up his sleep. Just like in real life, you don't want to fuck up your sleep. At least I don't. Alright, probably going to sleep late, because I didn't plan my evening very well. Yep, slept in till after 8 a.m. Well, how's that for being a slacker? I did a mod for these for the water dispenser. The water dispensers in town hold 250 units of water. I don't know what units exactly represent in real life, but like if you're really thirsty, it takes about 7 or 8 units to quench your thirst. So 250 will last you a while. And so I made a big point of finding one, dragging it home. And I got it home. Once I set up in my home, it only had a 10 unit capacity. I was like, what the fuck? The ones in town all have 250. Why is it 10? So I actually installed a mod to give it so it has 250 capacity. And I filled it up. Mostly I just use these things, but I'll use this for drinking. Oh, I guess it's -14 to drink. Oh man, Maxie, I've been coveting Spider-Man. It's supposed to be an amazing game. I just haven't been in the mood for that kind of like super fast-paced, hoppy, spinny, jumpy, shooty, webby. It's just that pace of game. I haven't been felt like into that idea for, you know. Well, when I was sick, I couldn't handle hardly playing any games. Like mentally, I just was like, oh, I can't do it. I was in a kind of a fog. And when I started coming back to, I was playing games like this that are kind of slow paced. I was playing Dwarf Fortress, which I got too frustrated because it was the huge learning curve and impenetrable interface. It's better. The Steam version just releases a lot better than the original. But wait, I'm not disassembling. What the fuck am I doing? Why'd it come up here? Gotta keep my shit. I almost just disassembled my fucking bed. What? My guy's lost. He's losing his mind. Okay. Oh, you were playing WoW when I was talking about it. Now, every review I've ever seen about it makes it seem amazing. It's like no one says it's a bad game. Certain people, like some people are like, the story is like, it's okay. And other people like, oh, the story is amazing. But unanimously, they say the actual gameplay and game design and world design, I haven't heard a single person not think it's completely amazing. So to me, it was like, no, I know I'm going to want to play it before it gets just as cheap as it's ever been. And I know I'm not going to want to wait 2 more years and wait for it to be $5. I know there's some point probably in the next couple months I'm going to want to play it. So I was like, nah, shit, I'm going to get it. I know I'm going to play it. Oh no, stealing internet. I didn't know anything about it. I'm an officer of the court. You should be careful. Talking about that kind of nefarious activity, Hunty. Oh yeah, I think I was going up there because I got some extra jeans. That's why I went upstairs. I was going to put the jeans away. There's a lot of inventory management in this game. That's where I got the clothes rack. I think this is where I'm keeping baggy jeans. And was there anything else I need to put away? Emerson water bottle. I have like a kit of what I usually bring along with me. Error 0. I just got an error message. I never noticed that before. Crowbar rent. Tin cans. Gotta get rid of that shit. I want to carry that shit. I don't know if tin cans are ever helpful. Maybe they could be useful eventually, and if they are, I'll have saved them all, but not out here. I put a bag out here, or built a crate out here. It is my trash crate. It's where shit like tin cans go. Oh, I've got extra jeans in here before I realized they had value. I realized I can rip up denim to make denim strips that you can use to patch holes in your clothing that actually help protect you against zombies. Bottle. Grab. This is a I don't know how the composting box works. But I put a whole shitload of stuff in here. Empty sack or partly empty composting bag required. Maybe I need to not have this. Where'd that sack go? Maybe I need to have it in my inventory. Sack. Oh, get compost. All right, I don't want to get compost right now because I think these strawberries are almost done growing. But that's where I put all the shit that went bad in my fridge. I throw it in here. It's finally figured out there was something I could do with it. Let's just put the sack in there with the shit. How are the strawberries doing? Flourishing. They're blooming. Seems like, yeah, if I was going to put fertilizer, I should have done it way earlier in their life cycle. They've been growing for like a month. Yeah, there's a lot of rotten food. Really, if I'm serious about getting compost, I'm here, but a couple blocks away. This is like the town grocery store. And there's a shit ton. There's a whole produce section here of rotten produce. So if I really want to get serious, like once I do find seeds for gardening more that I want to do at a larger scale, I'm going to need to come here and just... First, I want to get a bigger car, like a van or something, hopefully with more storage than what I've got. That's why my priority is trying to get my mechanic skill up so that I can hopefully find like a van or a truck or something with more cargo space than this little, like, I don't know what it is, like a Toyota Tercel type vehicle. I could eat like a horse for reals? Let's see, how much, that's a lot of calories. All right, I'm gonna drink half of it. The stuff's so heavy, it's straining my back to hold the container of soup. All right, back in with you. So I'm not hungry anymore. That's an unusual thing. So yeah, this is the car that I took when I tried to go to the next town. It was in reasonably good shape when I took it, but now there's blood and shit all over it. It got pretty messed up. Although, like, the engine and the internal workings are still good. So once I get my skills up, I think I'm going to try to find another model of this car. See if I can find some of these external armor pieces, so to speak. that are in good shape and get this fixed up again. Replace the windshield. This one's pretty beat up too, but I'm not going to use... I only use this in the neighborhood. This car never needs to run into zombies or anything. Although it has had a few... It's looking a lot shittier than it was before. It's had a few issues. Alright. Ooh, first try! This car, sometimes I gotta try starting it like 4 or 5 times before the engine will catch. What are we in? 928. Maybe I should work on clearing out that... getting to that fire station. I want to get some firefighter, like their heavy coats and jackets and shit, before winter hits. Or before really the, you know... Right now, it's still nice temperatures. And it's still warm enough that if I tried wearing that stuff, I'd probably get overheated. But there's some, there was some little... Oops, shit, that's no good. There were some mini hordes over here. So it's going to be like a minor project. Yeah, oh, shit. That's a lot. That's a lot of zombies. At least for my neighborhood. It's nothing compared to when I went to that March Ridge, the college town I tried to go to. They got Lawrence Hawk the Fifth. His mortal injury. And disassemble this. Disassemble this. Anyone that's carrying electronics, I disassemble them on the spot because it's quick. And oh man, I just want to get like 1 or 2 at a time. But disassembly is quick, and that's how I'm going to get my electronic skill up, because eventually I want that to be high enough that I can hotwire cars. Alright, there's one. I think one of my deaths was doing exactly this. I got more than I bargained for, and I decided I was still going to give it a shot. Denim shirt. This is actually... It's bloody, but... That's actually a good shirt. Alright, the baggy jeans I'm going to grab just because I can tear it up for denim later. Yeah, so far I've been fortunate where I haven't actually been killed. Like, I haven't been overwhelmed by zombies and killed while I'm being overwhelmed by them. I'll get a little bit overwhelmed, and then I'll end up getting, like, I'll try running away, and one of them get a bite into my ass on the way out, and then I'll get the zombie virus. And that's pretty much how my characters have died. Shit. Can I just... Maybe I could just come over here. They seem like they're not that concerned. Because really, I was just... Well, I like to clear my neighborhood out. But I was really just clearing them out because... Okay, here's another group over here. Oh, shit. Is that 2 groups? Alright, so this is definitely not a clear area over here. But if I can just get into... Oh, shit. Okay. If I can just get in here... Oh, this is ideal. You get 2 of them together like that. What are leather jackets? Leather jackets give good protection. Alright, I'm gonna put that shit on right now. I haven't been paying attention to jackets until right now because it's been too warm. And you get overheated. Alright, I'm just gonna leave that alone. But they offer... I'm going to want warmer clothes, and also they offer bite protection, so... Let's see. Let's get some of this stuff transferred. The stuff that's up here is stuff that I'm sort of just carrying. It's nicer to have them... Oh, I got the denim shirt and a leather jacket. How's my protection looking? I'm actually getting some decent protection on my arms with this stuff. Maybe I don't need the firefighter outfit quite as bad as I thought. All right, we're going to see if we can avoid breaking the windows. Although there's a door right there. Oh, these fuckers are too. Are they coming for me? These two, I think they may have spotted me and they're coming around the long way over here. Three of them? Yeah. Well, this one's got like a full-on spear in it. Oh, I got all three of them. Okay, that worked out much nicer than it has historically. The three at once usually does not go that smoothly. Not that I always die, but still. All right. Okay, there's a little... Can I get this dude without... I just want to get him because I think he's going to hear me tooling around in there. Oh, God, what's that? Okay, there's a lot of hordes over here I don't want to deal with. Hey, buddy. Hey, buddy. Oh, God. Okay. Now, he does have a firefighter outfit. Pretty good shape. Okay, no, I'm gonna kill. I can't be looting. Gotta pay attention to what the fuck I'm doing with the zombies. Military boots, perfect condition. Let me get the backpack ready for this. There's that. Firefighter pants. Yeah, that's good. What kind of... You know, I'm just gonna put these on. It's got huge insulation. No, the 60s temperature, I have a feeling I'm going to overheat in this. But I'm going to give it a shot. Firefighter pants. Those are a little beat up. The jacket. Oh, I'm already sweating. Matus! Yeah. Yeah, I did my one no talkie stream when I was sick a couple weeks ago. But it's been at least a month, I think, since I've done... It's been more than a month since I've done an actual normal talkie stream. Let's dismantle that watch. Time for me to... I need to get out of this hot clothing. The wet means I'm sweating. Which means it's too... Oh, I was still wearing the... Alright, get out of the... I think the firefighter pants is what put me over the edge. Probably the leather jacket, too. Firefighter pants. It would have been nice to have a good vehicle over here to load stuff into. Oh no, you got COVID? I thought I had COVID, but it turns out it wasn't. All right, let me see if I can get in this place. There's hordes all over this, outside this place. Oh my God, okay. That'll be good. Oh, my backpack's already pretty much full. Shit. All right. I think I'm just gonna do a quick. Is there a back door? I don't think there was. All right. No, I'm gonna. I need to go back to my car and dump off some of this stuff. You don't want to. I don't want to come into this place with my backpack already full. That was not. Oh my god! I would love this truck. This car is in really good shape. What would be great is if I could find, if there was like a dead firefighter inside that had the keys. Door unlocked by any chance? Nope. Truck simulator on the go. Oh, you got it. Are you able to play it on the computer that you have? Or is the Steam Deck going to unlock that for you? Wait, can I not use the truck bed to load shit up? Let's see, is there no storage in this? Screw around too much. There's all these hordes around. Oh no, there is a trunk, a gas mask. The trunk has a 98 capacity. The car that I've got has got like a 30 unit limit. Yeah, that would be awesome if I could end up finding keys for that thing. You can play it on your Mac. So have you looked into the games that you have? Which ones work well? Because Steam Deck, what I've heard is the games that work well for it can be like, it can be a great experience. But then there are games that don't work very well on it. So it's not like that it works every game on Steam, because the Valve did not develop most of the games on Steam, you know. But I think that would be like one of my big concerns. The same with like with my VR helmet. There's some games that you can play VR with, but they're pretty garbage, and other ones work a bit better. Well, games like Skyrim that were never designed to be VR games, but they created VR versions. All right, let's get. It's gonna be getting late in the day. All right, get the scrap electronics here. I think it's like all this firefighter pants and shit. All these jackets and shit that I picked up. A little work for games that aren't necessarily supported. Okay. Should I put the police jacket in? You know what? I'm not going to wear the police jacket right now. And my guy's also getting a little freaked out. I should probably have a cigarette on my way back in. Oh, okay, that's good. I think going up against zombies in an already anxious and freaked out state can impact your ability to hurt them. Oh god, what's this guy up to? Here, I'm gonna get you, buddy. Oh, those little mini hordes are getting a little closer. Yeah, those guys are making me a little nervous down there. Those guys are making me a little nervous too. But I think I can slip in right between them. Get to this front door. Oh god, that It's just a mess over here. Just stay over there, you guys. Are they coming? Oh, fuck, they're coming. All right. Abort. Abort. All right. Firefighter, the fire station plan is a no-go. There's just too much. I'm going to have to just slowly pick some of these guys off like I was going to do. It's just going to take forever. Maybe I can come out here and practice with my shotgun. Oh, God. Okay. I think I got their attention now. Oh, no, they're not coming. But I better get out of here because those other hordes might still be trying to follow me over here. Yeah, no, that, these cars are remarkably... Well, I did run over quite a few zombies escaping my little adventure to the other town. All right, this guy's coming. You know what? I'm gonna take him out because he's all by his lonesome. This is exactly what I want. Dude, what are you doing? This is what I want. Is I want like 1s and 2s and maybe even 3s coming after me. All right. All right. Oh, you know what I just realized? I forgot this, but the last thing I did when I was playing this before is I replaced the battery. I found a car with a better battery. Because now I'm thinking, like, usually it takes me 3, 4, 5 tries to get this car started. And twice now I've gotten in and it just started right away. I was like, what the hell? That's lucky. And then I remembered, oh, I just replaced the battery. That's why. Actually, there was a room. Looked like a big evidence room or something. There's a police station next door that had a bunch of weapons. I haven't cleared them completely out because weapons actually aren't always the greatest idea in this game. Firearms are not always a great idea. So I haven't been using them. But I've got a little stockpile in here. Just in case I ever decide the circumstances are right. But I'll have to practice a shit ton with them before they're any good. And then some people just maintain that it's really never worth. They're just never worth the... Because they'll draw all the zombies within like a 5-block, maybe not that big, but in a pretty wide radius. They'll draw all of them to you. So what ends up happening is you go, oh, I've got my gun, bang, bang. And then all of a sudden, an entire fucking horde starts rolling up the street. Because they've heard your gunshots. And it's like, oh, maybe it would have been better if I just picked them off with my crowbar. Alright. Let's see how much of this I can carry. Oh, the police jacket I wanted to keep on me. Okay. That was one of the reasons I like this house, is because of the gnome. I always know it's home when I see the gnome. That's... Alright, I had a bunch of clothes. It's not quite warm enough for the firefighter gear. What was all that shit? All right. And let's see, we got the scrap electronics I keep in here. Keeping that on my person. I need another box of cereal. Cereal is my travel food. And I try to avoid eating it. Just because when I'm home, I prefer cooking stuff that you can't eat while traveling. And I try to eat cooked food almost exclusively when I can. But sometimes you're out in the field and you're hungry enough that it's affecting your ability to fight, and you need to have some cereal. I like to think it's Captain Crunch Berries. Let's see. So we're gonna grab one cereal. What do you got? My farming book is what I'm reading right now. Water bottle, crowbar, screwdriver I can put back in here. All right. We're good. We got this food here. I think I'm gonna wait on that. Oh, wait a second. I need to read another mechanics book before I can do more mechanics. So that's going to be the next order of business. So books in this game. There's different levels of books. So there's cooking 1, cooking 2, cooking 3, cooking 4, etc. Each one, cooking 1 will give you experience bonus for the first 2 levels of cooking. Once you fill those in, like at a progression bonus. That's what this means. These little arrows mean I'm getting a progression bonus. Because what happened is I got the first 2 and then I lost it. I came home, I read Cooking Volume 2, and now for the next 2 levels I'll have a progressive bonus. And when I was doing mechanics before, I had read Mechanics Volume 1, and I got the first 2, and now my bonus is gone. So I need to read Mechanics Volume 2 to get that bonus back, to accelerate my experience gain, and then before I go back out grinding mechanics again. And I've collected a number of books here. Let's see. I don't have everything, but I should have mechanics. I have Volume 3. Volume 4 and Volume 5 exist out there somewhere in the world. I'll have to get those eventually. Oh, Brad. Something horrible has happened. They ran out of my strawberry flavored Huel shake powder. I had subscribed to it to have like a couple bags delivered every couple months. And they send me like, you know, whatever, like you spam emails like, hey, how do you like Huel? Whatever. You get emails and I don't read all of them. I just assume they're just being like, how do you like Huel? Hey, try our new, you know, chocolate bubblegum flavor or whatever. And so I didn't realize that they'd send me an email saying they're out of stock of the strawberry shake. So for purpose of my subscription, they're going to replace it with banana flavored, which I've heard it's a popular flavor. It's not like a fucked up version of fake banana flavor. It's like and I can vouch it's actually decent. There's certain like fake banana flavors that I find repugnant. So I will not have fake banana flavored stuff unless I have it on good authority that it's not repugnant. So, but I have 2 bags of banana flavors and I'm on my last bag of strawberry. So hopefully they get their shit back in stock, because the strawberry Huel is what makes my breakfast shakes taste like Captain Crunch Berries. It's just not the same when I use the banana stuff. So I've tried it a couple times now. It's not bad, but it's not taste like Captain Crunch Berries. And I can no longer tell you, Brad, that my breakfast Huel shakes taste like Captain Crunch Berries. All right, we're just going to chill out. The plan for this evening is now just to sit on our ass. That's one. Eventually, I would love for them to. You can't sit in chairs. I would love for them to let you actually sit on furniture and read. That's where some people have taken like shit on this game, saying this game's been out for over 10 years and you still can't sit in a fucking chair. Like, what are these guys doing? But they've been doing a lot in this game. But yeah, the fact that you can have nice furniture and you just sit on the ground just feels a little like, what's the point? If I was living in this house, I'd be chilling in those chairs downstairs. I'd probably drag one up here, have it by the window. All right, let's read. And then we're going to speed up time. And I'm pretty hungry, but I think I'm going to wait till morning. All right, now he's starting to get sleepy. Yeah, one of the bad traits that I picked up, like I've said, when you create your character, there's a bunch of perks, and positive perks and negative perks. So in this case, and they balance out. So you have to have negative perks in order to purchase positive perks. So let's see. Prone to illness, that's one of the negative perks I picked up. Smoker, that's why if I don't smoke, my guy starts wigging out. But when he smokes, it calms him down immediately. Weak stomach, that just means if you cook food that's a little past its prime, it can make you sick. Sunday driver makes it so your cars can't go fast. But in this game, really, you don't want your car going fast. That's the quickest way to fuck up your car is to drive it fast. And there's shit all over the roads. Axeman, because my background was firefighter for this character. So he does more damage with axes. And he swings them faster, which is both for fighting and for chopping lumber. Dexterous, I forget what that does. I think it's about like hopping fences and shit like that. But it's really lucky gives you a bonus to finding good loot. Fast learner, does you learn things more quickly. Keen hearing, so it's hard for zombies to sneak up and surprise you from behind. Out of shape. Now stout is from firefighter. I got a little extra muscle. But out of shape was a negative perk I chose, as well as overweight, because this both reflects who I am. But I was told, or led to believe, that the out of shape and overweight trait can go away if you just diet and exercise. But so far, it seems they're permanent. Like on all 6 of my Lawrence Hawks now. This is Lawrence Hawks, the 6th at this point, due to a series of unfortunate events. All of them remained to their dying breath, out of shape and overweight. Even though I had them running all over town all day, half the time they're like ravenously hungry and I'm not feeding them. Maybe if it gets to a point where they're starving, he'll stop being overweight. I haven't checked in a couple weeks if the Huel of the strawberry is back, though. I need to look. Will zombies not reinfest the home you cleared out? Once you cleared out the house, it should be safe. Like, as long as there are no broken windows or anything. Neighborhoods will stay clear for... by default rules, they'll stay clear for a certain amount of time after you clear them. But they can repopulate over time. Especially if you leave the area, they'll have a tendency to repopulate. But you can tweak the shit out of your world and the shit out of the zombie settings. And so the way I have it set up now is the zombie population as a whole doesn't keep repopulating. When you kill a zombie, that's one less zombie in the world. And it stays that way. And so if you clear out a neighborhood, there's no respawn. But there are equations working in the background to account for... world population zombies drifting and migrating over time. So you clear an area and zombies can appear there again. But they're not just going to spawn inside it. It's going to represent zombie movement. So if there's like... I ran out in the woods a few times and there were a shit ton of zombies out there in the woods. Those zombies could drift into town. Overweight takes time, but just eating healthy things or long starving out. Okay, so you're and thank you for wait, hold on. Shilvisk? I'm screwing up your name. Shilvisk. Thank you for that feedback. I haven't paid super close attention to what I'm eating, like nutritionally, but I try to stay hungry a lot of the time. And right now, at this point, I'm eating a lot of soups, like canned goods. No, the zombies do not have sex and reproduce. They reproduce by biting your butt, and then you become one. It's like sort of like Amway. I shouldn't say that. Sorry, anyone who's into multi-level marketing. I don't want to shake any beehives. All right, time for night-night. But, wait, did I change the setting? I could have sworn that I used to be able to zoom in more. Key bindings, camera. These are zoom out levels, are they? Oh, now I can zoom out even further. Okay, that's fine. I don't mind doing that. You love this game, but you carry a lot of knowledge that you know. And this definitely seems like it is one of those games that has enough to chew on that people literally play it for thousands of hours. I'm not quite there, but I think I've put in at least a couple hundred hours. I still consider myself somewhat of a noob too. But I'm not a total noob, but I will not claim to be highly knowledgeable and skilled at this game. There's still a lot I don't know. All right. Time to have some soup. All right, what's the plan for today? Am I going to try and Oh, I need to finish the mechanics book. Here, let's just make that priority 1. I thought I could zoom in more. Maybe I'm thinking of The Sims. 262 hours? That sounds about right. I mean, I've had this game for... I didn't get it at the very beginning. But I probably had this game for like, I don't know, 6 or 7 years. Maybe longer. It's just, it keeps evolving. So this game is a lot different than it was when I first played it. I think I picked it up in, like, I don't know, 2013, 2014? That is close to the time it was first put out, but I'm trying to remember when it was it first. I keep thinking it's somewhere in the neighborhood of 10 years ago is when it was first put out, but it might be even earlier than that. I think I'm getting confused with Dwarf Fortress. Never mind, because I was playing Dwarf Fortress over this break too, and I got frustrated with having to look everything up constantly, but I still felt like kind of a simulaty game. And then, I don't know. Project Zomboid is always percolating in the background as a game that's ripe for revisiting. High thirst because you just carry water bottles and it auto drinks, and thin skin because the plan is to never be attacked. But that's the plan for people that are good at the game. You may notice my character's name is Lawrence Hawk the Sixth. And the fact that he is Lawrence Hawk the Sixth is representative of the fact that I am, in fact, not good at never being attacked. I do have weak stomach. Yeah, weak stomach that makes you sick. Just don't. And I've been Actually, I think I accidentally did eat some rotten food. Didn't go that well for me, but I survived. I survived it. All right, let's speed through the rest of this book. I could have sworn I could zoom in more than this, though. Yeah, I mean, I played the free version a few years ago and couldn't really get into it because it was just too much. But the Steam version released, it's now graphical. They've also added like mouse support. It's a lot more accessible than it used to be, but it's still a super steep learning curve and somewhat impenetrable amount of mechanics to learn. Oh, Shill, you're 354 hours? That, in the grand scheme of things, that doesn't sound like that much more than me. The thing is, I probably haven't learned a lot for my 262 hours. Also, a lot of those hours were from early, like, years ago when the game didn't have nearly as much going on as it does now. I don't even remember the original story. I just remember it being more like a tutorial introduction. Because you start off, originally when I first played the game, you start off in a house with your wife. And I can't remember if she's initially alive, but she's sick. Like, she's been bitten and she's sick. And you're taking care of her. And I can't remember if it immediately starts where she's dead, or if at first she's still alive but just never gets out of the bed, and then she dies. 1,000 and below is basic and learning, and above, I guess it depends on the game. So, for example, I picked up Marvel's Spider-Man remastered for PC over the winter sale. I haven't played yet because I've been too into Project Zomboid, which I've had for 10 years. But that's how I roll. I have friends that make fun of me because I have all these like we're supposed to be the hottest, best, amazing AAA games, and then I'm sitting here playing games like this that I've owned for 10 years instead. But the amazing the Spider-Man game, I can guarantee you, no one's putting 1,000 hours into that thing. But a game like this, I'm sure there are people that have that like literally like thousands, 4, 5, 6,000 more hours in a game like this. All right. Wait, I did finish the book, right? Yeah. Let me put the book away. She's on the title screen. Oh, for survival games. Yeah, this sort of sandbox survival games, definitely you can put, if you like it, you can put a shit ton of hours into games like that. And I do like those kind of games. I tend not to go that deep, but I like to that number, but I'll put, yeah, like most games I don't, I'll put 15 or 20 hours into and I'm done. But yeah, a lot of sort of survival type games. They really if you're into the gameplay cycle, there's a lot of life in them. All right. So I'm just going to eat the rest of the soup. What, Streamlabs not working? Oh, did you try to like subscribe? It was working earlier. Well, I don't have, it's a big pain in the ass for me to go and fix it and stuff. Let me see. Are you talking about a lot of that stuff? I barely even, okay. So I was a potentially somewhat up and coming streamer on YouTube gaming circa 2016 to 2017. And that's when I set all this shit up, like all my notifiers, and I got my merch and all this other stuff. And then it just kind of like, that didn't happen. And I went a different way. I still stream because I met a lot of people that I like. So I still stream basically to hang out with the friends that I've made. So I still do it every Thursday, right, Brad? Every Thursday night without fail since 2016. Never miss a day. You can take it to the bank. And yeah, so a lot of that stuff, if it just broke, I don't have it anymore. But I know that some of the notifiers still work because some of my some of the people who are members were flexing. You can do a thing announcing your membership duration, and so there was some flexing going on earlier tonight with that. So I know for a fact that the notifiers are still working. But let me see. There it is.
Talons of justice!
There it is. Talons of sponsorship. Oh my god, Maxie, you just like, oh, I thought you maybe had lapsed and now you re-upped, but you have still been and continue to be 63 months. Yep. Now that's the thing too, is that at a certain point I was like, you guys, I'm not here. I'm not going to refuse the money, but when I was in 2016, 2017, I was actually kind of hoping, like I never pushed the money thing that much, but I was kind of hoping, because I was self-employed and my work was sporadic, and I was kind of hoping that this could develop, like maybe this would develop into kind of I was going to become a professional streamer or not do my real work, but that this could turn into like a source of income, like a second source of income for me. if the channel grew right. And then at a certain point, I think I look at the people who that is what streaming is to them, and it seems stressful, and it seems like you get to a point where you start relying on that, and then you're not doing it for fun anymore. So there's a part of me that's never pushed too hard for that to happen, but I was setting up the infrastructure for it. But at this point, all that stuff is like, since we moved, I found a good job, good steady job that pays decent, and I'm not rich or anything, but I'm definitely like doing better than I ever have been. And so yeah, now I'm not so much worried about the money, but I do put work into this channel still. Like tonight, one of the reasons I started streaming a little late is because I do all this shit. Like I set up my...
Live at the military blockade, the message is clear. The Nox event is contained. I repeat.
So I do my trailer, and then I have my welcome screen. And I found some cool cover for the Walking Dead music to set as the background. And that shit takes time. So, like, I probably put an extra 35 minutes into just setting this shit up. Editing together a video real quick. And rendering it and setting up the scene so that I could have my stupid thing that I always do, which is have cool backgrounds and stuff. That's true. That's true. Sometimes I don't put the time and the effort in. If you ever stream, you'd probably be silent in your end because I'm personally against how I sound. That'd be different for everybody. I've heard some people that didn't think they sound good, that I thought they sounded great. But then, there are people that it's like, yeah, they're just not, that's not one of their strengths. I don't think I'm an amazing orator or anything, but I'm okay. So I can have my moments. I think when I first started, I had a little bit more of the radio announcer voice going. A little more of like the stream personality. And now I'm just like me hanging out. Not giving giving a crap. I don't feel like someone who's being a professional streamer, in other words. I'm just hanging out, playing a game with a microphone in my face. This is like Markiplier professional. You had a dream last night and dreamt you were talking to me. He told me you wanted to stream, and I was like, go for it. But then waking up, you're like, nah. It's not for everybody. You see people, and Evie, I know you're kind of on the shy side too. But then there's people that do this stuff and they are shy and they get in this environment and they end up like, you wouldn't know they were shy. Except there's people that stream that have incredible social anxiety, but they're really good at connecting on stream. So other people aren't. I've seen people stream and it's just like, it just never clicks for them. So, yeah, I won't mention that. My wife. Thanks, Max. Thanks for the tip. All right, Shill. Thanks for stopping by, and thanks for the little bit of info and your enthusiasm for Project Zomboid. I definitely on the same page. You're probably into a little more than I am. You played a little more, but still, good deal. My fellow, I don't think hardly anyone that watches this stream, aside from Nick, I don't think anyone else actually even plays this game. So most people are just hanging out because I'm here. They're like, oh, what's this fucking zombie game again? Have a good night, though. All right, let's get back into this.
45 seconds of gameplay.
At least 45 seconds of gameplay is about to commence. You have high hopes and glad the game got more pop. Yeah, totally. No, this game, it is still at alpha 10 years later, but it's a very feature-rich alpha. All right, got my food situation sorted out. I think, okay, I've got to do my cooking cycle. So let's see. You enjoy watching it, never had time to play much of anything, so you don't buy too many games of late. And I think when I got this game, I think I got it pretty dirt cheap. I don't know what it even goes for now, but I think it costs more. But there's certain games like this and like Kenshi, I picked up in a bundle with like 7 other games for $1.99 back in like 2009. And now if you want to buy Kenshi, it's like $30 and it's barely ever on sale. All right, got to refill that. Enough to fill the whole thing? It's like 20-ish? Okay. I mean, really, since time is a concern, I would think it's probably not so much the money as it is. You do need to like have some available time to really sink your teeth into a game like this. And not everyone has the interest level or the time to do that. I've been spending a lot of time mostly just talking. You know how it happens sometimes, Nick. I'm gonna make more soup though. I need to open some cans. Let's see. I think I'm gonna open some chili. Yeah. Just one. And then I'm gonna open some carrots. And some peas. I think that'll we'll see what it looks like once I put all this together. I'm gonna have to do a run for more canned goods too soon. Create soup. We're gonna have the chili. Can I start with the chili as a base? For soup? Uh-oh. Create stew. Okay, there I can do a stew. And there's my carrots. And where's my peas? My peas. And that's a reasonably nutritious ensemble. When you play the game, you set the power to be on for several months. You like the exploring accent, and you like the exploring, but not the survival. That's fair. And that's one of the things that's cool about this game is they let you customize a lot of fine details that can dramatically change the conditions of the game in many, many different ways. So I kind of like the survival aspect. You know me, Nick. I mean, I'll play Skyrim and I'll put a mod in that makes it so I can starve or freeze to death. All right, so we got that in there. We're gonna put this in here. And we're gonna start the old fire with, oh, I'm almost out of money. Luckily you can use torn sheets and rags. So, should be fine. Let's see how these strawberries are doing. It looks like they're still blooming. Oh. I don't know, now that it's September, I wonder if they're ever gonna bloom or if they've stopped. Well, since when are the strawberries gonna come? I guess that's my question. So, let's see. I'll do a little wash. You turn infection off. So you just really like the world. And you don't want to deal with the, that premise, this is how you died. Oh, you can still die, I guess. You could make the game have no zombies if you wanted to. Just run around and collect shit. You can make all the zombies super slow, or you can make them so they sprint super fast and they can spot you from 2 miles away and be there in 5 seconds eating your face. I don't know if you can check the distance at which they can detect you, but still, you can have sprinter zombies, or you can have them all be slow and shambling. I don't have any sprinters in my game, but I do have some that move faster than others. But I think almost all of them, if you're just at a normal walking pace, you will slightly outpace them. No, I'm not going to mess with my food burning. Oh, I should throw away my tin cans. You die to a horde still as you expand your search areas. You still got close to... Oh, yeah, if you go to house alarm or car alarm can do the same thing, and all of a sudden every zombie within a half mile swarms your position, it can get pretty dicey. Why is... Shit. One of these should be all the way full. Fill. Alright, let's get that in there. Alright, this is cooked. There it is. Now that's cooked as well. Out the fire. The soup, we just want it here to make sure we've got it. Putting it in the fridge is just a force of habit. The fridge doesn't keep anything cold, but it's now my designated place where I put certain foods that would normally go in a refrigerator. I seem to be losing cooking pots over time. Let's see. We're gonna place this. Oh, I think there's one on the ground. Probably gonna hurt myself trying to lift both of these up. Okay. All right, we'll place. I think I'm losing them, but I'm not. I'm just putting them in places where I can't see them. Place items. All right, because if you're not careful, it'll be on the. This is actually on the floor, and then you have to come further back to make it be on the counter. All right, I wonder if I've got any other ones floating around down here. Anyway. I don't think there's durability on the pots. But sometimes, like I said, I just randomly kind of lose them. Wow, it's already like... Alright. That's one reason this is not the best streaming game for me, is because you actually have to be pretty aggressive with your time management. And if I'm not focusing on what I'm doing, the whole day will go by. Alright. Should I keep attacking the zombies by the fire station? But yeah, you can see this neighborhood is pretty much cleared out. I don't often see zombies over here, but they end up here now and then. I think they wander in from the woods. Well, yeah, this is, I've been building up this base ever since Lawrence Hawk, the original Lawrence Hawk. Then there was Lawrence Hawk Jr., and then there was Lawrence Hawk III, and Lawrence Hawk the 4th, Lawrence Hawk the 5th, and this is Lawrence Hawk the 6th. But this is all the base founded by Lawrence. I had enough going on with Lawrence Hawk, the original, at setting up that base that I decided it was worth respawning in the same world. Oh, fucker. Okay, hold on. Back up. Back up. Now, there's other Lawrence Hawks that have had a much worse go of it than this one. Speaking of which, though, I better make sure my crowbar's still in good shape. Alright. Any chance I just grab a couple of you fuckers? Alright, I think this one's coming over. Alright, let's go for a little... Let's get a little distance here. A little more distance. They're drifting this way, but this is the only one that's actually coming after me. Anyone else? Just a couple. That guy coming? Just a couple would be nice. Alright, I think this guy is coming for me. Oh, my guy's beard's getting a little long. Alright, I think we don't need any more genie right now. Okay, anybody? Okay, we got... That one looks like it might be a cop, too. Just giving them flowers and being polite? Given their pattern of behavior, it's never really crossed my mind. Alright. Oh, this group is getting whittled down, though. Alright, 2 are coming now. It's almost getting to the point where if the rest of the horde came at me, I could probably handle it. I think there's only 3 after this. But 2 is good. 3, I've gotten fucked up a couple times. More than 3, generally... Oh, okay, so the random sounds in the world can actually change the zombies' migratory patterns. So when you hear gunshots, that can cause sometimes zombies to move towards you or away from you. The one I'm standing on is still alive. Alright, there we go. It's the flowers. The flowers that don't care for the zombies. Alright. I think the light-footed... No, it's different than... I'm going to see what light-footed means in a second. Come over here. You bastard. I don't need an eraser. Alright, you know what? I need to use the restroom, though. Hold on.
seconds of gameplay.
Coming back with a little Kenshi. You like Kenshi, Brad? Kenshi's another one of those games that's, I mean, it's not like Project Zomboid at all, but it's similar in the sense that there's always a feeling in the background that I could come back to Kenshi. I mean, I will, but it's always like, oh yeah, that sounds good. Well, the stuff that can happen in Kenshi is hilarious, but I don't know that necessarily the moment-to-moment playing of it is hilarious. You might go 20 hours in order to get to experience, you know, hilarious. But I have had some pretty... I've had some pretty, like, funny, messed up, emergent story develop playing it, though, for sure. Were you guys streaming when one of my people was enslaved? And then they got in a big fight with a bunch of, like, mutant wolves? The captors, they were taking... I don't know if they were... I think they were taking her back to their home. Or just traveling around with her. Oh, shit. Are they all coming? No, they're not all coming for me. And while they're fighting with all these wolves and shit, she ran off. But she was still branded as a slave. So when we got her back, we had to hide her in her base. Because there are a lot of governments in the world that can, like, recognize slavery. And if they see that you have an escaped slave, they'll treat you like a criminal. So there's some pretty wild stuff like that. Okay, don't like that there's a horde just walked up there, because they could end up going to my house, but there's only 3 or 4 of them. I could deal with them. Was that all of the ones that were over here? Oh no, there's this one. No, I think she just saw me. But I think this little clump of horde has been here and around these trees for a long time. I did some raids to the police station, as you can see. My gear is police-centric. I have like a bulletproof vest and a cop's motorcycle helmet protecting my head. Digital watch, dismantle it. Eat like a horse. Not hungry enough that it's diminishing my stats yet. That's the... Oh god, look at these guys down here. Alright, that is a mess of a horde. Alright, this is enough of a little horde here that I gotta be careful. You don't want all these guys coming at me at once. Oh, there's a couple up here too. You don't want these little dudes over here surprising you. Oh shit, and there's one up there too. These are all potential zombies that while you're backing away, fighting the bigger group, these little assholes can pop up and surprise you, which is a terrible thing. We surprise them? There was another one over here, wasn't there? Where'd she end up? Okay, there it is. It was behind that pillar. I just couldn't see it because of line of sight. Hey, buddy. Hey, buddy. Oh, get down. Stay down. Son of a bitch. And, okay. Looks like they've wandered. Oh, what's going on? It's just very dicey over here. Okay, this guy has spotted me. I said, come on, lure him off the road so that he doesn't become like a driving problem for me. Oh, fuck! Fuck, fuck! Okay, I hope that wasn't a bite. Oh! I must have been protected by all the shit I'm wearing. There was a bite sound, like the sound of an apple being bitten. Alright, where's my glasses? I dropped my glasses, fell off my face. Here, these are mine. Alright, I thought... Thank God, okay. That's where, when I've repeatedly said I'm not great at this game, there was an example of it right here. Me and one zombie. And I just, like, whiffed it on a swing. I just, like, my aim was off for a second, and I whiffed it. And a zombie didn't get his little stagger that I was counting on, and, that was enough. A moment like that has been responsible for the death of probably at least 2 of the past Lawrence Hawks. I'm the second best. Who is Nurse the best one, would you say? Was it you that was watching Nurse videos? It's this lady that's pretty good at Project Zomboid. These guys look like they're acting like they're pretty hopped up. All right, you coming for me? They are. Oh, good. This is good. Okay, just the third one coming. That's fine. I can live with that. All right. 1, 2, 3. 7 o'clock. You know what? I should have a cigarette because my dude's wigging out a little bit. I think I'm gonna kill a few more of these guys before I head home. I should. Do you think I should collaborate with her? Do you think by proximity I'll look like a good player too? They'll just be like, oh shit. Where did there was some, oh shit, is that? That's a surprise group I don't want to pop up later. Oh, did 3 of them just notice me? Hey, that one's got a pretty nice backpack on. I think I've got the biggest backpack in the game. I'm not positive, but I think it might. Alright, that worked out alright. High-end camera, yes. Dismantle that shit. Alright. Almost 8 p.m. I think I'm still good for a little bit of well, there's that one. There's that one. It's just looking in the window there. Do you think you could pay attention to me? No, don't hit the fucking window. Oh, okay, that one almost got me. That one did notice me. I don't care. He's behind the fence, but I don't want to get his attention because he may get really interested and find a way to walk around the fence and then surprise me when I'm least expecting it. Hold on a sec. Okay, there they are. I knew there were still some pretty robust hordes over there somewhere. They're still... Okay, they're not going to hear this shit. Oh god, there's a huge horde up there. I gotta be careful not to get their attention walking back up the road. Come on, somebody notice me. Okay, yeah, they'll do. Alright. Oh, okay, with this dude from the bigger horde seems to have ran... I don't know. He must have been sort of walking over here already. Oh, come on, you guys. Oh, shit. Fuck! Alright, that almost went badly for me. See, the nurse would never have had that almost go badly for them. Alright, it's 9 o'clock. I think it's time. 9 in game. I think it's time for me to, should also considering wrapping up stream soon. But I didn't start until pretty late. Alright, yeah, we're gonna focus on just getting back now. Yeah, that's the thing, is you watch someone like Nurse play, and these little super common controlled scenarios for a good Project Zomboid player is generally not a problem. But at any moment, I could slightly, like, my mouse could be not lined up right. That's what gets me the most, is my mouse will be slightly not lined up right, and I'll take a swing and not hit the zombie. And pretty much, that can fuck you. If you miss... I mean, I've killed hundreds of zombies, but it's, you know, 4 times that I missed them are the times that previous Lawrence Hawks have died. Oh. That took 3 times. Alright, so... Car's not perfect. You can find stuff to recharge the car batteries, too. At some point, I'm gonna have to go on, like, a revisit of the various garages I've looked at. Because I'm pretty sure I've seen stuff in garages and thought, oh, I need to remember that when I'm at the stage of the game where I'm fixing up cars. Because at that point, I was more about just gathering basics, like weapons and shit like that. Let's see, what do we got? Nothing in the trunk. I didn't really gather too much shit. Just scrap electronics. So today's game, or today's activities, were mostly just all about thinning out those hordes near the fire station. Is there anything else? He's carrying something extra. Oh, I guess it's because he's carrying that deputy jacket. But I'm still wearing that. Let me see. I'm still wearing that leather jacket? No, he's wearing a denim shirt. That's what it is. And the police jacket will offer good protection when it's, I wasn't even paying attention to the temperature, but given that it's 10:30 at night and it's 65 degrees, I'm thinking it would have been probably too warm for me to wear that jacket. That's one thing I don't like about when the power goes out. You know how I like having bright, cheerful homes? I don't have that now. I'm going to double check this. Display. That just makes me so I can zoom out even further, which I don't necessarily want that. I guess I'll keep it enabled, but still. I could have sworn that I could zoom in more than this. I like looking at my little guy, you know? Where's my farming book? Spend a little time reading in the dim light by the window. If I get my electronic skills up enough, I can actually construct lamps with like poles and flashlights and shit. But I do not have... Leveling electronics seems like it's one of the... For all the shit that I've dismantled in this game, I haven't even gained one skill point in electrical. Now granted, my perception of this could be skewed because this is the 6th Lawrence Hawk. So maybe I just haven't done that much with this guy, but I feel like I've dismantled a lot of shit, even with him. Hold on, I need to take it. I need to take some cough medicine. Because one of the primary features of this is chest congestion. And I bought some Mucinex. That's been one of the things that's helped me get better the most, just because I was coughing a lot because I just felt like I have like rubber in my lungs. This stuff makes it so I cough and get all that shit out of there. Ooh, I finished my skill book. All right, and I'm definitely ready to go to sleep. Oh no, I hate it when he randomly goes the other side of the bed. It's a long walk to the other side of the bed. I would have thought maybe Ohm's law was implied to be in one of the contents of the books, the textbooks that I've read on the subject. Oh yeah, my dude's really hungry. Oh, my water bottle's empty. Here, before I do the water, since my food is soup, I'm gonna eat half of that. It's gonna quench my thirst, because if I refill the bottle of water, he's gonna automatically drink half of it already. But if he eats half of this soup, he's not thirsty anymore. I'm still gonna refill the water bottle though. And I got one backup bottle in my bag. All right, I think that's all the business I have to take care of this morning. All the home business. I can go right back out to... Oh god, the fog, is this going to be an issue? It's not super thick. Sometimes the fog is like you can barely see 5 feet in front of you. It looks like it... You know what? I'm going to start off by just working on cars. And then if the fog seems like... I don't want to end up getting in a situation where I can't see more than 5 feet, and I'm in the middle of trying to navigate zombie hordes. Like, all of a sudden, visibility goes down. That is not okay. I need to know where all those effers are at all times. But I am 92% sure there are none by where I am right now. Unless that one horde by the police station made it. But I'm pretty far from that right now. Let's just have a little, oh. Nope, we look like we're good. Hold on, I need a cough. Yeah, I've been doing a good job of keeping up with my, my goal was to revisit series that I really liked that I stalled out on and never finished. I did finish Game of Thrones. I've now moved on to The Walking Dead, which is probably one of the reasons that all of a sudden I started thinking about Project Zomboid again. I'm in season 6 of The Walking Dead, which is the farthest I've ever gotten. I got to the end of season 6 back when there were only 6 seasons, and then I haven't revisited it since. And they finished it last year. They finished the series. I've heard gripes that they didn't finish it great, but I do really like the show, and I'm going to finish it. Yeah, I could see... Okay, with Game of Thrones, the final season was... It was so shit on that by the time I got to it, it was better than I thought, but I could definitely... I could definitely feel like... It's like the budget went up and effects went up, and there was like epic shit happening and big shit happening. But the actual story, like what the characters' dialogue and thoughts and decisions and things all became seemed like shallow and like one-dimensional. You could really... That was the big thing, is it seemed like you could really tell when they ran out of book to base the show on. And it was just the makers of the show deciding like what the characters were going to say and shit. That seems like, oh yeah, suddenly it's not that because in those first seasons, you could have dialogue, 2 people talking, and there'd be a palpable sense of like edge of your seat, like what's going to happen, what are they going to say about this, or what are they going to do? And that feeling tends to seem like it wasn't as, I don't know. What it seems like to me, and the way it ended too, there are a lot of things where it's like, really? Like, does that make sense? Did they justify getting from, there was a point where everything seemed like it was solid, and then flash forward X number of seasons / episodes, and they get to this end point of how things get resolved. And it's like, did they really justify how things came to where they concluded? And it almost seems like maybe George R.R. Martin had a roadmap, and he was like, well, eventually this stuff's going to happen, but I haven't figured out exactly how they're going to get to that yet. And then the show writers were like, or they just made it up. But I can't imagine they wouldn't have had input from George R.R. Martin, because he was involved in the making of the show. So he must have give them some general idea of where things were going to end up. And the people that made the show, just like George R.R. Martin, didn't know how to get them there. And so it ended up feeling like it just didn't make sense how they got from, step S to step Z. Well, I'm not leaving him off the hook. I mean, that's the reason he hasn't written a book in 10 years. I don't think he knows how to end the fucking thing either. But I would have assumed that they've been consulting him on stuff, and that maybe occasionally he'd be like, oh, I don't know, maybe it ends like with this happening. I think it ends with like this person ends up here and then this happens. And it's like, how the fuck did they end up being like the conclusion? It's like, all right, well, let's see if we can connect the dots from where we are now to where it needs to end up. Or they just flat out were like, we need to finish this. We're going to come up with a conclusion and just make it up ourselves. And they just weren't good at making it up themselves. He provided them an outline to the very end. Brad, I just noticed that you said that. But Maxie, I agree that the writing got lazy. And that's the thing that I did too, is I allowed myself to enjoy it. I was a little bit like where things ended up, how everything wrapped up. It did wrap up. But one thing I was worried is that it wouldn't wrap up. That it would just, whatever. It wrapped up. Definitely wrapped up. But it was kind of like, and there were certain things about the last season that I really did enjoy. I'm not going to get into it specifics, but there were things that I was like, oh fuck yeah. And then I watched, after I finished it, then I went back and watched all of the why the Game of Thrones ending sucks videos, like analysis. And that's when it really fleshed out like why people didn't like it. Because then I was curious, like, what was it exactly that everyone hated so much about it? And there was ample material to justify, like, yeah, this didn't make sense. This character would never have done that. This character said they do this thing. And then at the end, that's what they ended up doing. But there was no justification for it. That sort of thing. But anyway, enough of that. Time to dismantle some fucking cars. Oh, I don't do that from the trunk, do I? Ooh. Ooh, there's a nice battery in there. There's a full battery. At 100%. Alright, hold on. I should be checking car trunks. I need to grab that shit just to put it in my car. Come here. It's a 100% battery, completely full. Take the cigarette lighters. That's an option. Actually, no, it isn't. But it always is using a certain power that I occasionally discuss when game mechanics fail to provide a course of action that we would like to pursue. All right, let's get taking windows on and off. It's one of those things, I didn't watch Walking Dead, after season 6 for years, and then I heard it went way downhill. But that, I don't always agree. That's the thing, is when people are like, oh, that show turned to shit. And then, but then there's a lot of people just like to bitch about everything. So that doesn't necessarily mean that if I watch it, I'll think it was fucking shit. With Game of Thrones, I could definitely see, like, yeah, that's totally fair. It definitely went down. It did go downhill. Let's queue up multiple attempts. Every time I fail, the condition goes down. That's why I want to practice on a bunch of junkers. Take the window off, put the window on. Take the window off, put the window on. You stopped when the show turned into a soap opera. I think I know the season you're it might be season 6. Season 6 is where they end up, like... Or dude, is anyone planning to watch it? I just want to know if it... I don't want to spoil anything too much, but... Season 6 is where they find a community of, quote, like, people who are almost completely walled off, and they lived in this, like... this housing tract where life is almost... as much as... almost like it was before the world fell apart, and they're all like super sheltered. And once they get there, like the stuff that people like who are inside those walls, their concerns seem very like soap opera-y. Like, well, oh, who likes who? And oh, is my wife looking at you? And blah, 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 you know. Alexandria. Are you talking about Alexandria, Maxie? Because that's the season I'm in the middle of that happening. Like them being at Alexandria. And I could see that place and those people there and the way that they interact with the group and each other feeling soap opera-y. The Telltale games were really good, Evie. I agree. But I really liked the show. But I think if you gave it 6 episodes and you didn't like it, it's probably not for you. I'm not going to say, keep going. You'll get it, Evie. You'll like it better later. Obviously, more shit happens that it becomes more engaging as you go forward. But if you're not on board by episode 6, yeah, I think it's fair to say you gave it a fair chance. And it just may not be your show, you know? All right. Put the window back in. How's my skills progressing? Right now we're doing... Oh, it's moving like molasses. But I went into Walking Dead already liking the whole zombie apocalypse genre. And in general, I'm fascinated by that sort of like movies that have society sort of collapsing due to things like that. Like I like the first 100 pages of Stephen King's The Stand. I like the book overall. But I was fascinated by The Stand because The Stand, the first 100 or 200 pages starts off where life is normal. And then but at the very beginning, there's like there's an army, there's a leak at a bioweapons lab. And this virus gets out and starts like killing people almost immediately. And this one guy who's outside at the guard post outside figures out all this shit's happening and basically freaks out and grabs his wife and bails. Oh, fuck, dude. All right, well, so much for that. I was almost done with that one anyways. And he flees and drives across the country. And then basically over the course of the next weeks, it's detailing like, oh yeah, pretty much everywhere where this guy went, people started getting this serious disease. And then it progresses to like, people are thinking it's just a really bad flu season. But everyone starts getting it. And then it's reminds me a little bit of like how things went with COVID. Where, yeah, you're hearing all these different rumors, but they're starting to dig like mass graves outside of major cities, which was sort of like shit that was happening during COVID, when like especially that first year. And people are starting to get scared, but then with The Stand, it ends up that, you know, within a few weeks, basically almost everyone dies of this thing, and civilization as we know it completely collapses. It's gone. But the thing that was interesting about The Stand, that now obviously they didn't come back as zombies, but the thing that was interesting about The Stand is that most zombie things, they start after the apocalypse is basically complete. They might give you a couple hints like, oh, this thing's about to get started, but they don't show it falling apart. And The Stand started with like, hey, life is normal. It's like, oh, there's this little bug going around that seems a little weird. Oh, maybe this is getting a little more serious than we thought. It has that progression to everything's okay to the civilization's over. And that was sort of a fascinating, especially in the hands of Stephen King. I thought that was a really interesting that journey that he provides from business as usual to the end of civilization. But yeah, he is a master of mediocre endings. I agree. He's got that. Not that everything he writes has a terrible ending, but a lot of stuff, and it's because he doesn't know often where his story's going at all. He comes up with a premise, and usually a lot of times it's kind of a cool premise, and then he comes up with some characters that all behave somewhat realistically, and he sort of lets the characters interact with the situation and each other, and then the characters dictate the story. Like, he doesn't have it mapped out. It just continues. Like, the story goes where the characters would, because, oh, this is happening, so this is what they're going to do next. Oh, and this is going to cause this, and now this guy and that guy are going to hate each other, and one of them is going to try to kill, it's all that. I don't remember I know Bird Box. I found Bird Box somewhat unmemorable. Like, everyone loved it, and then I watched it, and I was like, eh. And then sort of just forgot. But so anyway, that was a long way of saying that when Walking Dead came out, I was already... Now, Walking Dead does the same thing, too. It's like, there are no zombies, and then the main character, who's a police officer, gets shot and ends up in a coma, and he wakes up God knows how long later, and the world has already collapsed. But I still kind of have always been fascinated by that. Like, hey, the world is over scenario. What are you going to do? How are you going to survive it? That's one of the reasons I like this game. Of course, one of the biggest things in The Walking Dead is the fact that it's the other people in the world and the way that they become in that environment that it ends up being the greater danger. It's the people who are more dangerous than the zombies. Which is also like how Stephen King is he'll have his fucked up scary thing happening, but it's always the people that end up driving most of the worst shit that's happening. It's the way people react and freak out and put themselves above everyone else and that sort of thing. Was Bird Box the one where at a certain point they were driving in a car with all the windows completely covered up and using their phones like Google Maps to steer? I think that was a point at which I was just like, and I think you guys have known that I can suspend disbelief a lot. I can, like, just think about the Star Wars movies, how much I enjoyed those movies. But just kind of had to filter out all the bullshit that really doesn't make sense if you stop and think about it. Just turn that off. But at the point where they're in the car using Google Maps to steer without being able to see what's out there, I was just like, all right, well, this is officially like, having a real hard time taking the movie seriously at this point. Yeah, vehicle navigation doesn't work that way. And there's also the apocalypse, so there was like shit, broken cars all over the road, all that shit. When society breaks down, and your car's navigation system is not going to tell you when there's a wall of wrecked cars in front of you. Oh, you think it's just that I just don't have the one that detects, well, that detects all the obstacles in the road? All right. Oh, that mechanic skill is barely going. Let's see, 51.25. 51.25. It's not... Is it not going up? It was 51.25. I'm going to do this a couple more times. But if I'm just doing this and I'm not gaining skills... 51.25 multiplier 5. But just doing Windows was working before. I don't know if they ever explain it. No, they never really explain how it started, I don't think. One book was that was interesting was World War Z. Not the movie. I mean, the movie was just a Hollywood action film. But the actual book by Max Brooks, World War Z, is presented as like a collection of newspaper articles and letters and journal entries and things, interviews of documenting the zombie apocalypse from the beginning through the end, like until like society falls. And I think even getting forward to like how maybe humanity was getting a foothold to fight back. And that book was really interesting because it wasn't a story following a person running around saving his family or some shit. It was like historical documentation, like documenting how the zombie apocalypse caused down to like, because then you start thinking, well, shit, these zombies are dumb as fuck. Like, how do we have a full military that once they realize that if these things bite you, that they're going to zombify you? Once that was figured out, how do we not have the manpower and the firepower to just put the whole fucking thing down? And World War Z actually addresses like what happened when the military was mobilized, not just like in most of the zombie movies and shows, it just shows military outposts that were set up and they're just like, oh yeah, they got overrun or whatever. I heard that the Fear the Walking Dead is not as good. I think I was at my dad's house a few years ago and they had the service, I think Hulu, that had it. And so I watched the first few episodes and I was kind of into it, but I've heard overall people say it's not good. So I never ended up getting that invested into like revisiting it. But I forgot that it does go through that time period of everything's normal, wait, something funny is going on, and moving on to like, shit, everything's falling apart. Okay, 51.25. Is anything going up? Let's see. Why don't maybe I'll try taking the battery in and out. $54.5. Okay, that's actually doing something. But yeah, Fear of the Walking Dead is set in Los Angeles at the onset of the zombie apocalypse. But yeah, I don't remember them ever saying... I don't think they ever explained what caused it to begin with. Like, I think in The Walking Dead, sometimes people speculated, like, maybe it was because of this. Like, I want to say that there was some episode in The Walking Dead where they said, oh yeah, in this area, like back in the 60s, the government was experimenting with like dropping Agent Orange. Like they were developing some kind of military thing and they were testing in this area. And someone's like, I wonder if anything of that could have backfired and triggered this whole thing. Like shit that was in the environment. In Fear of the Walking Dead, they visited the CDC. I know they did in the regular Walking Dead season 1. The sort of, I think the season leading up to the season finale was them finding the CDC in Atlanta. And the dude had information about diagnosing the problem, and he did talk about how things fell apart and how, like with the other groups like the CDC across the world before they lost communication, how most of them, when things got bad, like the people just, when things fell apart too much, most of the people just left who worked in the CDC just took off. They're like, yeah, this thing got away from us. I need to go spend time with my family now. Bye. But the main thing that guy revealed, now he did show like some of the physiology of the zombie virus to basically show that when you get the virus, it actually physically destroys your functioning brain, and something else grows in, like the virus grows in and over the cerebral cortex, like the lower brain functions, and just takes over the body. But that literally physiologically every part of the brain that represents the person that was there, like who they were and what they thought and what they knew, gets destroyed in that process. So I think he definitively showed like, no, this is not something where we're going to find a cure and these people are going to come back. Like these people are dead. They are definitively gone. And I think that was the big takeaway. And the other big takeaway was something that he revealed. He whispered in Rick's ear that Rick did not reveal for like another almost season later to the rest of the group and to the audience. And that is that everyone's got the virus in them, whether they're bitten or not at this point. But it's not going to kill them if they're not bitten. But anyone who dies of any cause at that point in like the world would come back as a zombie. So if you get pneumonia and die, you're going to come back as a zombie. And those were the two big pieces of information that they learned from the CDC. CDC had a nice neutral image in the public consciousness. Yeah, I don't think the CDC became it was not a politicized issue until later. All right. Is this still, do I have to do different stuff? Because now that's not going up either. It went up a little bit and it stopped. Engine quality. Weight 1107. How are you supposed to take an engine out? Oh. That's the whole car's 1107. How much is an engine? Take engine parts, repair engine, muffler, uninstall. Maybe I need to not do the same part over and over again. It was working before. 54.5 is where I am. $56.15. Oh, I didn't even get it off and I got credit for it. 57. $62. Oh yeah, this is working. All right, let's put that back in there. Yeah. That's a lot of hit points. Wait, 64.2. Wasn't I at 67 a second ago? Did it go down? Did I just become dumber, or am I just remembering wrong? Okay, that's 64.25. $65.88. 65.88. Definitely 65.88. Okay, that went up. 67.5. I thought that's where we were a second ago. If these numbers are just going up and down like a yo-yo, that doesn't even make any sense. 69.13. Okay, so it seems like it's going up now. Okay. That sounded like that was off to my left. Okay, I'm gonna keep screwing with this muffler because this seems to be working. Let's see, we're at 70.75. And if I'm actually focused on doing this, I have it set so if you set the game speed to high, oh shit, it came out. This is heavy enough that it's injuring me. Hold on. Minor damage. Maybe taking the muffler on and off is not the greatest idea if I get injured every time I'm holding it. Alright, but let's see. Where's my skill at? 80 point. It's definitely working. Is there something a little less heavy that I can take on and off? I don't think I can mess with the brakes unless I... Uh-oh. Did I just see... Yep. Son of a bitch. Here comes the Lone Ranger. I think he, I think this guy got unsettled because of the, that gun sound. Drew him in this direction. I hope this doesn't mean there's a whole fuck ton more coming. They'd be going from left to right. I'm just gonna come up so I can get visibility around the corner of these buildings up here. Okay, so there's a little group up there. They don't look like they're moving anywhere, though. Alright, I think that was sort of like a one-off. I haven't watched Wednesday. My wife watched it, and she was like, "Yeah." She didn't. She was like, "Yeah, that's okay. It's good, decent, reasonable." But at least her report was like, not like, "Oh my shit, you need to watch this now. I'll watch it a second time with you." Did you watch it? I know it's super popular. All right, let's get the skills back out. We're up to 80. Can I take the radio out? Oh, the radio's something's considered busted my bones. Okay, 82. The radio seems to be working, but discomfort something doesn't feel right. I think I really hurt myself. Maybe I need to take it easy the rest of the day. I think I've actually injured myself taking the muffler out on and off because it was too fucking heavy to be handling that much. Oh, you like the darker sense of humor? All right. See, this says multiplayer. Do you have to start a new map? Yeah, I'm pretty sure it's like when you generate the world, you select solo or multiplayer. And Nick and I did a little bit of multiplayer. The thing is, it's not a persistent world, so it's not like you both have to be available to play at the same time to do anything in the game, which was contrary to something like V Rising. I thought was more my style for multiplayer purposes, because either one of us, because I rented the persistent world, but either one of us could play V Rising, and sit here before I forget what the fuck I'm doing. But either one of us could log into V Rising and build our castle and play our stuff, and it wouldn't make any difference. I think whoever's hosting the game in this can log in and play without the other person, but then that would suck. Like if you start out with electricity and water, and then Nick logs off, and then I binge play over the next couple days, and he comes back and the world is like completely falling apart. It's like, what the fuck? I thought we were only supposed to play this together. Yeah, in V Rising, and it was mostly just we were inhabiting the same world and we'd visit each other. But you're right, only once or twice did we actually go out. Like, we were both doing our own thing. And I know when we played Project Zomboid, we were in the same house, but I honestly think, like, in a scenario like this, if I could somehow play this with someone else, like, I would still even be like, let's clear, because this is a nice little neighborhood here. There are high walls, the zombies can't get over this. And when I get enough wood and my carpentry skills high enough, I'm going to wall this off. And you can have gates big enough to let vehicles pass through. And that's sort of like my goal for this area. This is going to be my home base. And I'm going to put another one over here. And so basically, this whole area would be considered a safe zone. And if I were playing with someone else, I would be like, hey, I'll take this house, you take that house. Or, we each choose. This house down here sucks. And this house would be outside of our exclusion zone. But I'd be like, yeah, here's these 3 houses. Let everyone take one. And this can be our little, our little community. But I think I've learned, if you're all playing in the same house, with the whole thing, I have, the whole organization scheme. And we were kind of doing that when we played a little bit. But it's just, things get way too much well, this is just how I do it because I'm going to remember. And I'm going to create these new boxes and put this here. But you can't label them and stuff. So I would think, to me, sharing inventory management space with another person could end up being, monumental. You'd have to start taking notes on where everything fucking was. But, I mean, I played 265 hours, and 263 hours of that was solo. I think it's a really cool game. Wait, what am I doing right now? I had a plan in my brain. Okay, this is in my bag. This is scrap electronics. Why? I'm carrying the fucking window? Beat up as shit, too. Alright, I'm gonna go back. I'm trying to remember, why did I leave? Why did I stop doing it? Oh, because I was injured. Alright. Yeah, so we'll go back in the morning and keep doing more of that shit. Yeah, I was in the middle of taking the window off and putting it back on when I realized I wasn't getting experience, and I forgot I was in the putting it back on phase, so it's still in my inventory. Luckily, window is not super heavy. I'm just gonna put it in my backpack. I think the main reason we stopped is because we sustained injury. Looked like a relatively minor injury, but still, I didn't want to keep lifting heavy shit when I was getting the sense that something inside me was broken. It's a window of opportunity. I see what you did there, Nick. Oh, speaking of D&D, that was another thing I got kind of excited about. I better eat. Hold on. I was a big fan of the Dragonlance books back in the day, and they just came out with a Dragonlance adventure module or adventure book. And I've been hearing it's pretty good. And so then I got all hyped. I don't think I can run 2 campaigns at once. I think I kind of decided that, but oh, it just sounds like that would be just so much. That sounds like it'd be a lot of fun to run that and play that, though. What I'm talking about, I'm not playing the Dragonlance. I'm just talking about it came out, but what I've heard, it sounds like it'd be a lot of fun. But I'm sorry I touched on a sensitive subject because we did have our campaign going, and then I made an executive decision that I didn't have the bandwidth for it. I shouldn't even be allowed to talk about. You know what? While I was sick, one night I actually rewatched the most recent episode, and yeah, it's been fun. I watched the whole thing of that scene where the city guard came for you, and you're still basically telling him to like suck your vag. Like you're like, you screw you. Yeah, I'm gonna apologize. Apologize for not kicking your ass. You know, the upstanding city guard. The duly authorized. All right, time to eat the rest of the chili. Probably do a little bit of cooking before I forget what I'm thinking about. Hello, important Rice 36. Hey, hey. Your daughter's in the D&D coworkers play. Well, Dragonlance was a series of books that the authors played D&D, and so the books were based on characters in a world they'd created for their D&D game. But the novels were very much like epic fantasy. And for me, up until that point, this is in the mid 80s, up until that point, the only fantasy that I'd read was Tolkien, which I was always a huge Tolkien fan, but I found Tolkien difficult to read. Like, I found the language difficult to navigate in Tolkien when I was like, 10, 11, 12 years old. I could read it, but a lot of times it just felt like the style was just hard to... It was a challenge. And then I discovered the Dragonlance books and read those. And what it felt like to me was it was a more fun and easier to read version of fantasy. And it didn't feel like Tolkien, but it felt like, but it was right straight out of D&D, which I already liked. And so it's super exciting, fun characters, fun adventures, good story. I revisited it as an adult and it sort of held up. It did sort of hold up. It wasn't quite as amazing as I thought it was when I was a kid. But I listened to the audiobooks like, I don't know, it's about 12 years ago now, so it's been a while. And hold on, I need to concentrate on what I'm doing for a sec. Canned soup, open, canned peas, open, canned potato, open, prep the soup, grab the pot, We start with the mushroom soup. Potato. Canned peas. Do I need one more thing in there? 44? No, that's good. I didn't open anything else, did I, that I'm forgetting about? No, I don't think that I did. All right. Sometimes you gotta, for me at least, I need to focus on what I'm doing here. I can't mindlessly cook. Light the fire. Almost out of money for lighting fires. All right, let's get that farming book. Start reading about farming. Because hopefully in the not too distant future, why is he not reading? Is it too dark? Oh, he's finished the book. All right, it's time to find another book. Letting someone play a Kender in one of your games and them stealing from the party. Which is pretty much exactly what a Kender does. Not necessarily the best dynamic for a group of players playing together to have a character do that. But, you know, in the books it's always like, oh, there's the Kender in the group, and he's always caught like, oh, he just has a bunch of stuff in his bag that belongs to other party members at all times. And it's always like, oh, you so-and-so. It's just kind of like, oh, funny Kender, and you're stealing. Because Kenders like have this real innocence about it. Like, they don't consider it stealing. They're just like, oh, yeah. All right, hold on. A little bit of concentration. Probably not a terrible idea. Trapping. Weapon handlers reloading. I think there's another weapon book. I thought there was an additional weapon book that I had. All right, my food's gonna burn if I'm not paying attention to what the fuck I'm doing though. All right, no, let's just get over there. Mushroom soup. All right, perfect timing. It just finished cooking like right when I walked up and began burning. Put out the fire. But that was one of the funniest things about reading about the character in the novel was the childlike innocence of the Kender in terms of like how they felt about what they were doing that other people considered stealing. And they totally didn't see it as stealing. They just saw it as like, oh, I was just curious. I just had to look at it. And then it ended up in my bag. I was just keeping it safe. You know, all this, it's, But that sort of shit wouldn't work. Like I had, in my other D&D group, we have a rogue, and he tried to be on the sly, like, take some dagger, some like jeweled dagger that we found, and you know, immediately I made a roll, and the mage in our group just flat out saw him doing it, and it was not a friendly confrontation when that occurred. It was not a oh ha ha you silly rogue. It was like, how can we ever trust you again type of conversation. All right. Oh, the fucking tinned cans. All right, fucking shit. That's what we're gonna do. Let me get my cigarette. I'm gonna have a cigarette. And while I'm smoking, I'm gonna run back downstairs, dump out those fucking tin cans, and then we're just gonna go back up and go to sleep. And it's almost midnight, so I should probably consider that a good segue to me actually in real life going to sleep. All right, where are those fucking cans? See, right now, early on in the game, just wandering out in the middle of the night without thinking about it, not a good idea. Because there were zombies all over this neighborhood. It was about crouch walking all over inside my house, and if I made too much noise, you'd suddenly hear zombies like trying to break the windows open. Every time I open a can of soup and you empty it, I end up with empty tin cans. I don't know if I can do anything with it. There's probably, knowing this game, I could probably end up making like armor or some shit out of it, but I just haven't figured it out yet. For now, I just have a bag. I have a box in the back that's basically my trash bag, and I just put all that shit in there. Alright. Gonna make sure to keep the windshield in my backpack. Let's see, and we'll, Oh, he's super sleepy. Alright. Okay. Alright. That's a good place to stop. Well, here we are again, ladies and gentlemen. Last stream of 2022. And you were all here. Well, who knows? Maybe I'll do a New Year's... Nah, that would suck if I did that. A New Year's Eve stream. I should be spending that with my wife. And not streaming. Encore! Just one more quick game of Project Zomboid. Well, when my character goes to bed at midnight, and he's sleepy as fuck, and then I realize in real life it's midnight, and I'm sleepy as fuck. It's just too strong. It's too strong a connection with between like an intersection between gaming and real life to ignore. A torrential rain next week? I haven't looked into the weather next week. I pretty much just assume for the next 2 months the weather is mostly just gonna be like pretty fucking rainy most of the time. we still get you know, sun days with sun and shit. It's not like we never see the sun, but yeah. There's been a lot of rain recently, and I expect that will be a continual pattern of a lot of rain and then not rain, and then a lot of rain and then not rain, and then maybe a couple days with light rain, and then a day with a shit ton of rain, and 2 more days with a shit ton of rain, and then 2 days with no rain. That's sort of the pattern. There is no tomorrow. 20 inches? Oh shit. Well, hopefully that's not going to be where I am. There's certain parts of Portland that when the weather gets bad, they get absolutely like slammed. And I tend not to be in one of those parts. We still get weather, don't get me wrong. Yeah, it got down for a few days. It was like the highs were in the 20s, which for us, that's pretty cold. When the temperatures, like the lows are in the teens and the highs are in their 20s, that's pretty cold. And we did, like right leading up to Christmas, there were a couple days where we didn't want to leave because it was snowing and freezing. So like we live upstairs. Our apartment is upstairs, so we have to go down steps to get out. And it was like, there was a day or two where we're just like, well, we stocked up on food. We don't need anything from outside. And Amanda even told her work, they basically arranged like, yeah, the stuff that normally she has to go into the office and do, someone else is going to do that shit on these 2 days, because we're not leaving our house. But then luckily by Christmas, we left Christmas Eve like around noon to go up where her family is, and there was still snow on the roads in the Portland area, but it was mostly kind of like you know, slurpy snow. It wasn't like treacherous. Still, you know, if you're not used to driving in the snow, you still need to be a little careful, but it really wasn't a huge, you know, like where if you're going 5 miles an hour, you lose control of your car and it skids off the road or something. Which when you get freezing rain here in Oregon, that's what happens. Like you very rarely just get snow. You get a lot of fucking ice because it snows and then it rains and then it snows and it rains, and every time it rains, rain turns into ice. So, yeah, the White Christmas in Portland tends to be more treacherous than places that just, honest to goodness, stay cold, and it's just gonna snow. It's just snow, and not a bunch of intermittently 2 inches of water that freezes in the middle of all that shit. But yeah, then when we drove, basically once we got away from Portland, like 20 miles away, the snow was gone from, there's no, like, even on the sides of the road. But we were seeing like jackknifed semi, we were seeing wrecked cars all along the sides of the road the whole trip up. So we knew that during those days things have been pretty gnarly on the highway. I think we saw one semi that was, it was like turned on its side. It was jackknifed and turned on its side or upside down in a ditch next to the road. It's like, what the fuck? And then a bunch of cars like overturned and just off in the bushes. Like, yeah, it was pretty crazy. Ridiculous and hilly. The Sierras are going to get like 10 feet of snow. 10 feet. Fuck. And when we drove to California, we were hitting some snow because there's mountains in Southern Oregon, and traveling over to California, there's some mountains. You drive through mountains for several hours. And it did snow a bit while we were doing that, but it was nothing crazy. And I don't think there was really ice to speak of, but we were pretty anxious. There was probably about an hour of driving where we were a little freaked out that we might hit ice. But nothing bad happened, and then we came down out of the mountains on the other side and stayed in a nice hotel, had a nice experience. Well, nice. What was it? It was the Hampton Inn and Suites by Hilton in Redding, California. So it was nice. They had a nice continental breakfast. We stayed in a bunch of hotels over the trip. It was funny, that was probably the nicest one. The actual Hilton in Anaheim looked like it was probably built in the 60s. And they didn't have a free buffet with it. They had the tiniest bottles of water in the world in the room with a little sign saying they're $5 each if you drank them. It's like, fuck you. When we stayed at the Hampton Inn and Suites in Redding, all that shit was free, you assholes. So, anyways. Then we stayed another night. We came into town in Los Angeles. We stopped north of LA, like about 45 minutes, in an area called Santa Clarita, Valencia, where Magic Mountain is, Six Flags. We stayed in a hotel like a few blocks. There's tons of hotels around there. And that place was all filled up because it was like, I was like, if we, in the future, when we're planning a trip like this, maybe we should avoid hotels that are 2 blocks away from a major world destination, unless we're going to that world destination. Because that place, it was a nice place and they had a nice continental breakfast. I'm into that shit. But when there's 50 people all hyped to get their grub on and then go to the Magic Mountain, Six Flags, all their kids running around, bumping into your legs, knocking your tray down. I think some kid made me spill part of my orange juice. Because they're not paying attention to where, kids, Brad. Kids, man. Had a nice experience. Well, that one was a little weird though, because they decided, like, most hotel rooms have a standard layout where you walk in and then the bathroom door is right by the front door, and you go, and maybe there's a closet, and then you move past that and then it opens up, and that's where like the bed or beds are and TV and all that stuff. This one that we stayed in was like an L-shaped room that had the bathroom like going lengthwise along the whole side of where the beds were, and then they tried to fit like a little living room area in the entry, and then the bathroom. They were trying to be super fancy, but it's like, dude, I didn't like it. The bathroom door was right by the bed. Like, you could reach out from the bed and touch it. And it was a translucent sliding door that didn't close. It wasn't like a seal where it closed. It was just like a sliding door. So if you went in there to pee in the middle of the night, which both me and my wife do, or, you know, if you're doing anything else, you know, on the road, eating habits not always the best. Sometimes you gotta do a little business in the middle of the night. And in fact, I was having a little issue with digestion that night. And every time I went to the bathroom, the light, if I turned the light on, it would shine right into the room through the translucent sliding door. And then every single thing anyone sleeping in there is gonna hear. And yeah, it was just like, fuck. Stop being creative and trying to be fancy and just, I mean, and it was nice. Like, it wasn't one of the nicest showers I've ever seen in a hotel. All the fixtures were super nice. It was like, don't get fucking creative. I want the bathroom to have a heavy ass fucking door with a lock on it that you close it and it goes all the way closed and you don't hear every single thing when you're trying to sleep. And you're not being blinded by the light if the person actually wants to see where the fuck they're pissing. All right. I shouldn't complain so much. It was a very nice hotel. It's just whoever designed it had a very optimistic appraisal about how and when people use the restroom and what impact that's going to have on their traveling companions. Yeah, there you go, Maxie. You got it. Exactly. Although I don't remember the smell being an issue. It was more just the fact that, you know, any sound you could hear. Just every breath. You'd be just sitting in there, just the slightest grunt on the toilet. And the other person can hear it like you're doing, like they're in bed and they're hearing it like it's in their ear. Poop in the blinding radiance to an audience of your betters. The smell was an issue, just not more of an issue than every day. I'm trying to, it seemed like the air circulated or something in a way that... Yeah, I don't remember being concerned about that. But it was more the light and the sound. The blinding light, and then trying to go to the bathroom in, like, mostly darkness to not wake the other person up. That didn't work all that great either. Camo cough. to grunt, to hide the grunts. Well, all right, guys. It is well after midnight. I know I started streaming late, so I was planning on going a little late, but this actually surpassed my plans for how late I was planning to go. So, I'm gonna officially bring this to a close. Maybe after a brief discussion of the Silmarillion, we could talk about the new Netflix. I haven't finished the new Amazon series, but that'll be a topic for discussion. Is how the relationship between the new Amazon Rings series and the Silmarillion. Your plan will never survive first contact with the enemy. Oh yeah, the cough you do when using a pub. But isn't the point of that just to alert them that someone's there? What I'm more likely to do in public restrooms, if I know I'm about to have a noisy moment, is I'll flush the toilet. And the toilets, and a lot of those are loud enough that you just clench your fists and just let go. You just let root. Just try to get everything, boom, just like cannon shot out. So that by the time the loud flushing is done, if you've played your cards right and had an effective moment, maybe you got through most of the way through the woods at that point. I need to stop talking about this. All right, guys. Here, gonna dim the lights. Do I got lullaby in here. I feel like I'm gonna cough though. Hold on. All right. Which one is the right one? Why do I have both lullabies? Okay. Go to sleep and good night. Your eyes are getting so heavy. Go to sleep now. Brad Pritchard, J Maxi, EV23, Nixie. Go to sleep. Matusif, I don't know if you're still here. An important rice. I'll be waiting for you in your dreams. I did say Brad, right? Yeah, I'm sure I did. Good night, Brad. Good night, J Maxi. Good night, EV23. Good night, Nixie. Good night, whoever's still here and sleeping. See y'all next year.